It's time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
That's right, Boom Chanka. How's it going, everyone? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig Night for the Pig and the Hen Show, Wednesday at 3 p.m. We're a few minutes late, but we're here. We're here to do the show for you guys, with you guys today. So thanks to everybody who's stopping by already on the live chat and everything. I can see there's a bunch of people in here. Henry Hotspurs joining me from Guangzhou, China. I know I didn't pronounce that right, but from wherever you are, mate.
That's
Thanks
fine.
for joining me. How are you doing?
That's great pronunciation. I hope this is, doing something for all them midweek, all those midweek blues out there. I mean, I remember we were talking about possibly changing the Pig and the Hen Show time schedule to a Monday evening or a Monday afternoon, depending where you are in the world. And we had a bit of backlash. There was a lot of people saying Wednesdays are so difficult for me. It's such a struggle. And the Pig and the Hen Show is my saviour. There's some shit like that. Sorry, there was some kind of stuff. There's some kind of, comments such as those. And I was thinking, well, if I'm making that much of a difference to people's lives, I mean, and you obviously, Pig, then well, how dare we even comprehend changing the time? It's got to be Wednesdays. If that's making the difference to people's lives.
Absolutely. So for the time being, like we said the other day, we're going to do Pig and the Hen Show every Wednesday at 3, and then we'll try and do some bonus shows here and there. But thanks to everybody for stopping by today. Obviously, we're going to talk about the European football a bit because it's the Champions League is back. Yeah. I know United aren't in the Champions League, but the Champions League's back, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, the Europa League, the Mickey Mouse competition in Europe is back as well. So we've got to talk about this too.
The lack of passion in your voice. 1 second you say the Champions League. Even the title of this podcast is, or this video that we're putting up right now is something to do with the Champions League. Doesn't even mention Manchester United. Doesn't mention no Europa League Mickey Mouse Cup, does it?
Not in its entirety, no.
No, we even have to mention other teams and their failings. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the reason we're actually mentioning it, though, because of their failings. That's the thing, it's obviously awesome that Liverpool and Chelsea lost last night in the Champions League. So, I know people want English teams to do well. Well,
I'm one of those, though. Okay, we can start off the show with that debate. We've had this debate before, actually. I remember a couple of years ago. It was this pre-Pig and the Hen, I don't know. But yeah, I've always been, even though, it doesn't please me to see teams like Chelsea or Liverpool do well per se. I do like to see them do well with the Champions League. 100% I do. I'd rather them get to the latter stages. I don't want to see Liverpool lifting the trophy, especially against Tottenham Hotspur, as happened last year. But I was much more happy we were playing Liverpool in that final than I would be if we were playing Barcelona or Real Madrid. In some ways, it just makes it more. It's better. It's better for the Premier League. I am a fan of the Premier League. That's what it comes down to. I want the Premier League to do well in all competitions.
Definitely better for the Premier League, absolutely. I mean, it's good for English football. Last year we actually had the Europa League winners and the Champions League winners, so that was a great year for English football. But obviously, from my point of view, I don't want to see Liverpool win another Champions League. I don't want to see them do well.
It's only because you're not in it, though.
Well, no, it's not because I'm not in it. It's because we've got a big, fierce rivalry with Liverpool, and I just don't like to see Liverpool do well at any occasion, Henry. That's basically what I'm saying.
It's like asking me, if Arsenal are in the Champions League, do I want to see them lose? Yes and no. I kind of want to see them get further along so that they get their hopes up. They got their tails
So what
wagging.
you're saying is you wanted Arsenal to beat Barcelona when they got through to that Champions League final?
What I want is the guillotine to come down, let's say at about the quarterfinals, maybe semi-finals stage. Probably semi-finals is the right time for them to go out and listen to listen to tears, because even tears make sounds when it's Arsenal fans.
Yeah, well, I don't want to see any of our major rivals lift the European trophy anyway, to be honest. That's just how I feel. I mean, it may be a bit negative, bit harsh, but
Very
United
harsh.
win. Well, it's harsh, but I mean, okay, maybe I can live with it if it was like Chelsea or Arsenal, because even though they're our rivals, they're not our true bitter rivals. Now, when you're talking about teams like Liverpool potentially lifting it again, or City, I don't want to see either of those teams win it, Henry. So, do you know what I mean? Definitely not. Like, fair play, it's good for English football if they do win it like they did last season. But no, we haven't heard the end of it. Let's talk about six, baby, and all that stuff from these Liverpool fans and Jurgen Klopp and all that. I can't bloody live with it, mate. It sickens me.
But do you know what apparently Jurgen said to Ancelotti at the end of the game? Apparently came out with some I want to swear. I'm trying to hold back on the bad language tonight. I want to be more more statesman-like. You know what I'm saying? But apparently he came out with some. The thing is, I can't use the English language without cursing. That's my problem, isn't it? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is he said something nasty to Ancelotti. It sounds awful, but that's true. Do you know what he said?
Go on.
Supposedly he said, "Oh yeah, the team that loses the first game goes on and lift the trophy." I mean, okay, it could have been joking, couldn't it? Yeah, let's shake your hand, Ancelotti. Yeah, well done, mate. But apparently he said something like that, which is very interesting.
It's just a bit of banter, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's because they obviously lost to them first game in the group stage, didn't they? I'm guessing.
Exactly, that's the first game.
That's
the first game against Carlo Ancelotti. Massive respect for Carlo Ancelotti as a manager, to be honest. I mean, if Solskjaer doesn't work out and you heard that Ancelotti was coming to Manchester United, I mean, surely you wouldn't turn your nose at that, would you?
I mean, he's obviously proven he's successful, isn't he? He's proven he was being talked about at one point
he's won the
United.
Premier League. He's
That's what I'm saying.
He's been across Europe.
He's proven, doesn't it?
He's a great manager. So what's your problem with him?
He's a good manager, but I mean, Carlo Ancelotti, ex-Chelsea man, and I don't know, mate. I just think we need a different look at the moment. We've tried these big name managers over the last few years, and they've not worked out. And Louis van Gaal is in the same sort of ilk.
No.
Jose Mourinho.
Yes.
So yeah, these people have come in and they've not worked out. I think United need to do something a bit different at the moment. So if it's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe we shouldn't be looking for a big name to just come in as a quick fix. That'll probably happen because that's what the Glazers will deem fit probably, but I don't want to see that. I think we should be looking to build something at United and not just look for a short-term manager who floats around from club to club. But he is obviously a good manager. I'm not saying he's not a good manager, but would I actually want him at United? I don't think so, to answer your question. But
okay, fair enough.
That's just my opinion, mate.
No, well,
you look offended.
That's fine. Well, no, I'm not offended at all.
Is he your uncle? Is Ancelotti your uncle or something?
No. What I want to know is what is your answer when Ole Gunnar fails? That is my question to you. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Doesn't matter how much you sit there with that big pig smile that you got on the go. That's not going to save you.
I think that's very negative, mate. We're on the same points as you at the moment, man. So, calm down. Calm down. Look, okay, United, we've not had the best start. But
we drew with City, we drew with Arsenal. Who have you played? You've lost to Palace in Southampton?
Yeah,
I know.
It's unbelievable, mate.
You don't even have words for it.
Listen, it's early days, mate. It's early days. United, we're in a rebuilding transitional period, okay? Spurs are further along than us. We've got to accept that at the moment. At the moment, we're level pegging with Spurs on points. It's a new season. We'll see how we go. I'm not feeling that optimistic about it based on the squad that we've got. Ole Gunnar, he's done some good things over the time that he's been at United. He's also done some bad things. Give him a chance. He's not had time, mate. So you're basically writing him off before he's even really got going. And I just think that's just piss poor, mate. It's negative. We don't need that right now. We need to support him. He's the manager of the club. While he's still here, we need to fully support the lad. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you're obviously a Spurs fan, but I just can't tolerate that sort of level of negativity about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, mate. Okay?
Well, you got it right the other day with the Premier League game that you had. Who was it that you beat? Was it Watford?
Watford, no, Leicester we beat.
Leicester, that's right. Rashford taking the penalty. And that I know I've touched on this on the Monday night special edition of the show, that you need to keep going with that. Rashford needs the confidence. He needs to be the penalty taker. You don't want to be messing around with that. Talking about penalty takers, Ross Barkley has actually come out with a statement saying he has been selected as the Chelsea penalty taker, and he's come out with this, as far as I can see, when he's just missed one last night. I mean, who says that? Who says that? You miss a penalty in a Champions League game, it's like, yeah, I'm the penalty taker now for my team. Yeah, but you missed last night, mate. Yeah, but I've been selected. I'm the man. I'm the penalty taker. Do you know what I mean? What is going on?
I guess
at
it's
Chelsea,
just his
mate?
response in from the backlash of him missing it. But I don't know, mate. Just a little bit of self-confidence for the guy. I guess he's just seeking that little bit of confirmation. He's seeking that confirmation, isn't he?
Well, is he going to get it? I don't know. If Frank Lampard's enough of an MEG,
you know what, though?
then maybe.
Going back to what you're saying about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. To be fair, if Pochettino came right now, and he is a good manager, I don't think he'd have United in the top 4 necessarily come end of the season. We're a few players away, Henry. No, I don't think he would, mate. We're like 4 players away. We're probably, like a Jadon Sancho away. We're probably a
Sancho away.
A Jadon Sancho type player. We're probably getting maybe James Maddison
away.
James Maddison in there, somebody to potentially come in and play that sort of role that Matic does at the moment, or where Pogba's been. So look, you're being harsh on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, man. He does need time and he needs a bit of investment from the Glazers. He needs new players to come in. That's true though, mate. Look at Tottenham's midfield.
Since when is that something that someone says? We're a Jadon Sancho away.
Well, I just said it, mate. I just said it, mate. So you pissed off.
I'm going to remember that. That is funny.
Jesus Christ, the old cackle's coming out and everything.
Jadon Sancho away from what? From what?
Not just a Jadon Sancho away, a Jadon Sancho, a James Maddison, and potentially a couple of other players away from actually having a side capable of challenging, man. If you look at Spurs' midfield, we talked about this. Spurs' midfield depth is so much better than United right now. That's just plain wrong. It shouldn't be that way. We should be somewhere on a par at least. So the fact that that is the case goes to show you the lack of depth that there is at United. So if you're talking about doing the best with the tools that he's got, he hasn't got the same tools as Pochettino. He doesn't have Harry Kane, this world-class striker who's guaranteed to bang in 25 goals this season. He doesn't have Christian Eriksen, this world-class playmaker who's guaranteed to set him up. So he's not got the same tools at his disposal as Pochettino.
He'll soon get them, though.
It's easy to say that.
Pochettino,
we need to give Ole Gunnar time to get them, though, don't we? That's the thing. The Glazers haven't spent the money in the window.
But it's not just about the money. It is about manager names these days. It is. Players will play for managers that they've played with before, that they respect, that they know the history of. I mean, what strings can Ollie really pull? Is he gonna get some of his old friends from Cardiff that what did they do? What happened? Got relegated.
United have
or
signed
something?
a few good players already in the last window, man. So Harry Maguire's a big name player really for 80 million.
He can't
it's not
get
saying we
good
can't
players.
attract players.
I'm not saying he can't get good players. What I'm saying is if Pochettino was to go to Manchester United, God forbid, I wouldn't want that to happen. But if he was there and he had a transfer window or two, trust me, you'd be seeing some big names coming in, especially with the clout that United have in terms of spending. You look at what Mourinho spent. You look at the players that he got in because he was Jose Mourinho. It was, you're talking completely different standards of fees being paid for players. Look at the money that you spent with Jose. Look at the money you spent with Jose.
He was here for 3 years, though. We spent 150 million in the last summer transfer window. Is that chump change? It's not really. Maybe we should have spent more. We definitely should have spent more, but we still have spent money. So I don't think that's a very valid point because we still spent 150 million in the last transfer window. Maguire was 80, Wan-Bissaka was 50, right? And I think Daniel James was 15 or something. So we've spent money in terms of attracting the big names. United's a huge club. We've been able to do that. But what we are lacking is Champions League football. What we are lacking is a clear direction and a clear sight of challenging for major trophies. If you're a top player right now, regardless of who the manager is, I don't think coming to Manchester United is as attractive as going to some of the top clubs around Europe that are currently performing right now. From a footballing point of view, look at David De Gea. We've done well to keep hold of him. He's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. But he could easily have maybe gone to another team that are challenging for things and win things and maybe achieve more in his career in terms of accolades and all that sort of thing. But because he likes Manchester United, maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is happy with him as manager, and he's obviously committed his future to the club. So United are still a big club capable of keeping hold of and attracting big players. But you know, if we did have another manager in there, maybe it would make a difference. But do you think Pochettino's really going to be able to bring in, I don't know, just like he'll be able to raid Tottenham for Harry Kane and stuff?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
I don't think he would,
I'm not
mate,
saying
because
Harry
Kane's
would
a
go.
Spurs. He's a Spurs man, isn't he?
I'm not
And if
saying
Spurs
Harry
are still
Kane would necessarily
higher
go,
up in the table,
but
then why would he want to come?
But you could be looking at a good contingent of Tottenham players that would follow Pochettino. If, you know, end of the day, if United are going to pay higher wages, if United could pay the money to satisfy Levy, which I'm sure they could, then it would just happen, wouldn't it? That's how football works.
I think that's misguided. So if you think Pochettino went to United right now, we'd sign Harry Kane in January if he was given the money to do it. Because that's just rubbish. It wouldn't happen, mate. Definitely not.
I'm not saying Harry Kane.
Well,
but you could. There could be other players that would go. There could be other players.
Yeah.
I know you love Harry Kane, but you know
I do. He's a great player, mate. I'd like to have him at United. I would. You know, he's guaranteed to get you goals, mate.
You could be looking at players like Eric Lamela. You could be looking at players like Son, maybe Dele Alli. You know, people that would just follow the manager. It could happen. Why not? It's speculative, though. It's speculative.
I don't even want Dele Alli right now, mate. You know, I wouldn't want Dele Alli. This is the thing. I want players who are a little bit different. Maybe they're younger, hungrier, showing a bit more potential. Maybe they're got something to prove. I don't know. Like people like James Maddison and Sancho. They're young, they're hungry. Dele Alli, yeah, he's had a couple of good seasons. He's actually not been that good for a year or so. He's not like really
He's
in
not
around
playing
the
at the
England
moment.
fold.
He's not playing for Tottenham.
No, so
at the moment.
He's dilapidated, mate. He's a dilapidated old shack at the age of 26 or whatever he is.
Oh no, he's not that old. 26. Are you kidding
Well, how old
mate?
is he? How old is he?
He's only going to be 23, 24. Dele.
Oh, fair play. Well,
Oh yeah,
either
for
way,
sure, mate.
Yeah,
Young,
fair play.
maybe younger than that.
That's what I'm saying. He's had a
He's
had a
fine,
good
mate.
season. He's basically
Pochettino's
Sean Wright
doing-
Phillips, mate. Sean Wright Phillips looked
No, he's
great
not
when he was
Sean
young.
Wright
Everybody thought he was
Phillips.
going to be
Shut
great.
your
And then he turned out he was just bang average.
Shut your mouth. Not at all. What are you on about? Dele Alli is a special player. The reason he's not playing at the moment.
With the Dele.
The reason he's not playing at the moment is just because he hasn't been putting the performances in, because he got lazy, because he was more interested in his hairdo, he's more interested in marketing, in developing his career as a celebrity, which he successfully did in many respects. This probably comes down to his agent. The fact is, Dele Alli needs to get back into the team. He needs to be playing again. That will happen, and Poch is doing exactly the right thing by keeping him out of the team right now. This is not a case of a player that's not worthy anymore. This is a case of good management, which, you know, maybe Ole Gunnar should take a footnote out of that page. Is that the saying? Can you say that?
What, by sort of not developing players, you mean, and just letting them fall by the wayside?
By just like, you know, Pogba has to play. All these players kind of has to play. Jesse Lingard, he plays for England. He has to play. And okay, recently he might have. Last game, did he change that? Did Lingard start? No, he did not.
It's a lot down to injury, though. I think so.
Well, there we go. There we go.
Yeah. Same with Pogba. He was only not playing because he was. So I can't disagree with you on that point. Like Solskjaer's talked about playing the youth, and he's not done that so far. He has just chosen the same old guys. Whether even Matic in the last game brought him back in instead of giving the opportunity to Fred to start, he's brought Matic in there. So
you got Matic and McTominay starting. You know, I couldn't think of it.
Did great, but Matic shouldn't have been coming in there. He didn't deserve to start the game. He's been poor before that. Fred deserved to start the game, you know, definitely. So I don't see what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was doing there, but he talks a good game in terms of opportunities to the youth, but so far this season he's barely given them any. Even people like Greenwood, he's brought him on at the end of games for just a few minutes right at the end when the game's basically dead. So I don't see what's going on there. Hopefully it's not more of the same with that. That's a good point you bring up though, Henry. Anyway, we wanted to talk about obviously Champions League football last night, because we touched on it at the start there. But Liverpool obviously did lose. It doesn't really have that much implications for how they're going to do in the Champions League. Like Henry said, they started the campaign in a similar fashion last year, and he had that bit of banter with Ancelotti after the game or whatever in the final, or whenever it was, and said that, the first game, and said, what did he say, Henry? He said, I
don't know. I don't know this for a fact. I might be wrong. This is just
This is just hearsay, is it? This isn't like somebody's actually read it.
As far as I know, this is hearsay. But
right, okay.
There's no smoke without fire. You know what I'm saying? So As far as I know, yeah. I mean, Klopp said something to Ancelotti at the end of the game, saying first team to lose in the Champions League goes on to win the trophy. And the fact that they did actually lift the trophy last season and they lost the first game of the Champions League campaign, Ancelotti's probably stood there thinking, well, bit of a poor thing to say, but how could I respond to that?
Yeah, fair play. And what do you think about Chelsea? They've obviously not started the campaign very well there. Maybe a bit of exertion in the Premier League.
Chelsea have been
last
up and
time
down.
around.
I'll tell you what I do think about Chelsea. I think Lampard, he's a passionate man. I honestly believe he's working his socks off, as Ollie is. You know, these guys love their clubs. They really want to succeed. From what I've seen of Lampard's Chelsea, it's almost like a naivety that, you know, Lampard wants them to play in a certain way. It's like it's an attacking young side. He's getting these young players in. He's got his ideas, and fair play to him. But it's a little bit all over the place. You know, they're leaking a hell of a lot of goals. You know, it's like a basketball game every game for Chelsea at the moment, and that has not been Chelsea for years. I mean, I'm not just talking Mourinho days. I'm talking. You know, in general, over the last decade and a half, Chelsea have never been a basketball team. You know, they've always had a strong defence, a rock solid side that doesn't mess around. But that is not the Chelsea that we're seeing at the moment. You're seeing a complete evolution of what Chelsea is. Whether that's going to be good for them or not, I think the fans are probably enjoying it at the moment. But they'll start to you know, be sick of their mouths as soon as they're looking at 2, 3, 4 losses on the trot, which could be round the corner. Who knows?
Fair play. I mean, it sounds like you're a little bit more supportive of Frankie Lamps than you are Ollie Gunnar, mate. What's this bitterness towards United compared to Chelsea? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're supportive of Frank Lampard. We're on the same points. They had a bit of a ropey. We battered them 4-0 start of the season, mate. So Ollie Gunnar absolutely mugged him off, didn't he?
No, I've got. There's massive issues with Manchester United because
there's some issues,
you know, because of the Glazers, because of Woodward. I mean, I don't even need to. Why are you asking me? You're the one that has the United channel on YouTube. You know, that talks about these things, all the problems of Manchester United.
You can bit of hate towards Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the start of the video, mate. You know. It's cold.
Oh no! Come on, that's just banter. Why are you so sensitive?
This is United channel.
Because
you know you're saying when he's going to fail. He's not going to fail, mate. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to succeed. Okay. That's what's going to happen.
Do you really think I'm saying this stuff about Ollie because I really believe that, or am I saying this just to see how you respond or how you react? That's what it comes down to.
You shouldn't be playing me like that, mate.
I'm not playing you. I'm not playing you. This is the Pig of the Hen show. This is where we debate. This is where we analyse and we discuss.
I'm just saying he's not going to fail, mate. So, you know, you given all the positivity
so you've
to Frank
got
Lampard,
the belief,
I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserves a little
Pig,
bit of that
Pig.
positivity from the hen, mate. That's what I'm saying.
Actually, right, this is one criticism I do have of you, Pig. Can I, is that allowed?
No. Why would you be like, I'll just criticise you then, mate. Fine.
No, I've got a
here's a criticism
over the years.
of you.
No, but listen. This needs to be heard. So over the years of listening to yourself, doing the channel, doing the Flying Pig United, you're a very positive man, and I love you for it. The listeners love you. Everybody loves you because you're Mr. Positive. You get behind every single manager. And, you know, as soon as things start to not do so well, then you might become critical. But you always are the optimist. But I think sometimes, here and there, you've got it wrong in the past. You know, Louis van Gaal, David Moyes, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar
definitely
this
got it
time
wrong,
round.
but it's easy to say that in hindsight, isn't it?
Every single manager that's been at Manchester United since Sir Alex Ferguson, you have been 100%
of course. I wasn't actually over the moon with David Moyes. You're slightly wrong there, mate, because David Moyes, I was saying, like, really, is he really big enough for the job at the time? Now, that's not to say that once he was here, I didn't support him at the start, because that's what I'm going to do with my football team. I want them to do well. Sir Alex Ferguson, the last thing he said before he left was, you have to support the new manager. He needs time.
It takes you a while.
Of course, we're going to be doing that. It takes you a while
to get to that stage where you've got the T-shirt either on or on order, where it's current manager out, whether it's Moyes out, Van Gaal out. You know, you get to that stage where every every video that you're putting out is like, right, it's time to get rid of the manager. And it
Well,
takes
when it
you
is
a
time
while.
to get rid of the manager, but now it's not time to get rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, mate. He's only just got going.
There's been a lot of United fans out there that have been on the money before you. They've been telling you in the comment section, etc.
Wow,
they're saying get rid of this manager.
Everybody's got a different opinion in football, Henry.
Saying, no,
you're talking bollocks, mate.
Give them time.
You're talking rubbish.
Give them time.
You're
And
just
then
talking rubbish,
eventually,
mate. Everybody's got different
when
opinions
you
in
know
football. Do you know what I mean?
that the walls are crumbling around you, you've got no other choice but to say manager out.
Well, I assess the situation as it is, mate. Look, what I do know is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is an ex-United legend. He's come in there. When he first came in, he reignited Manchester United. He got us playing good football again overnight. Now, he had a bit of a lull. We're in a challenging situation. The main thing that is holding him up, really, I think, is our owners. You touched on that. That bit's true, Henry. That bit is the fact. We've got bad owners at the club, which doesn't make it easy for anyone. We're talking about Chelsea with a transfer ban, but they've still got Abramovich there who loves the club, loves pumping money into the club like it's his little toy. That's fantastic. That's way better than the scenario we've got with these money-grabbing guys sucking money out the club. So it's totally different setups at the club. But in terms of how I feel about managers, I'll have my opinion on it like anything else to do with football. So if it's LVG, when LVG came in, I thought, crikey, he'd done a great job with Holland at the World Cup. Fantastic football they were playing. Small nation, got them to the semi. Did you get them to the final? Can't remember now. But either way, it was a fantastic tournament he had with
Bayern Munich.
Previously, what he did in his career. No, when he was the Dutch national team manager.
Oh, okay.
Just before when we got him, anyway. Just before when we got him. So we had that great summer there, and then that's when we signed him. And we were happy when he got all the experience in the world. He's a far cry better on paper than David Moyes anyway. And you could see the good football that Holland were playing, and also with the defence that we had and stuff, it made sense to have somebody in there who might play five at the back or something. So that sort of made sense at the time. Jose's CV is unbelievable. He came in, his first season was successful at United, actually. It actually was. He did very well. And even in the second season, we finished second, which he says is one of his biggest achievements. But ultimately, it didn't work out with Jose. Did I support him for a significant amount of time until I had changed my opinion of him? Yes. So I think your point's moot, mate. Your point's moot.
well, I'll put it out to the commenters out there.
Unnecessary criticism there, mate. Like, it's easy
on
to
the
say
live
that.
chat right now, or on the YouTube video once it's settled and put out there. Let us know. Do you think the pig's got it wrong before, or do you think that the pig is always right? And I'd like
that's just
to
a bullshit. We don't want to know that, because I'll tell you right now.
Yes, we do. I want to know.
Of course, I'm not always right, mate. What are you talking about? And there is no right and wrong. These are just my opinions. You said I'm Mr. Positive as well. When I go on videos and we put in a poor performance this season, I support Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but this season I've criticised a lot of the things he's done with in-game management at selections and things like that already. So you're just talking absolute pure cod, mate.
All I'm trying
to do, you're talking out of your freaking hen beak over there, mate.
I'm
with your
giving
bird
you
brain.
The chance now. Right, what's the date? What is it? 18th, 19th September 2019, early season. I'm giving you the chance right now to say Ollie's not cut out for it. It's not going to work out for Ollie, and you're not going to be a trophy-winning side with Ollie. How are you going to respond to that right now?
I'm going to say that we are going to win a trophy whilst Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is manager.
Wow.
Okay? So that's what I'm saying. I'm also going to say that he needs time. We shouldn't be getting rid, even if we do have a calamity this season, the most important thing is how we're improving, is the vision, is how we're proceeding with that vision, and the way that we're executing the football out there on the pitch, and what we're building for the future. That's the main thing. Position-wise, look, if we finish eighth this season, but we're playing a decent style of football. He's playing the young lads. We're getting. Yeah, well, listen to me. That's worst case scenario for United, isn't it? We're not going to finish any lower than that, but potentially if we have an awful season, we could finish somewhere like 8th, right? So
for you, it's not Ollie out if you finish 8th.
He's not had enough time, mate. He's not had the investment. We've talked about the Glazers not putting the money into the club with the players and getting the players. He's not got the right squad. If Pochettino came in right now, he probably wouldn't get into the top 4. So we'll see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does, mate.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. Well, I cannot believe what I'm hearing.
It's true,
You're saying that if Ollie finishes 8th, then you expect him to keep his job, and that is not an issue.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to say.
That's what I'm saying. Dependent. No, it's dependent on how we're doing.
Absolutely.
It's dependent on how we're doing, though, mate. Like if he's playing Pogba and Matic and Lingard all season, and that's why we finish 8th, and we're playing dreary football, then no. But if he's giving the opportunities to Gomez and Chong and Greenwood and these guys, and we're building for the future and improving it, and maybe next season we'll come back stronger, then that is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the style, the evolution at Manchester United. That's what it's about.
Peg,
not the final result, because we're miles off.
The way I look at it as a neutral, there is no reason you should be finishing anything less than 6th. If you finish 6th, I think that is a failure. Okay, you need to be challenging for Champions League spots.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're in a title challenge.
Yeah.
If you finish 4th, absolute massive success. If you finish 5th and you're almost there, well, it's not the end of the world. If you finish 6th, it's a failed season, but as long as there's still positives, you can keep going. 7th, not good. 8th, Ollie needs to go.
Mate, you can't say that though. It depends how we're doing.
Wow, we think so differently on this.
Chelsea finished.
Ollie needs to go if you finish 8th.
Didn't Chelsea finish like 14th one season recently in recent times? It's not really,
14th.
And then they said, when Jose Mourinho left.
Finish 4th?
They finished.
Oh, sorry.
You're having a mare,
Jose season.
God,
yeah, okay.
You're so combative tonight, Henry. So combative tonight, Henry. You can't even see past your own nonsense.
Chelsea wins leagues, and then they falter, and then they win a league again, and then they falter. Manchester United have been nowhere near the trophies for years. You cannot compare yourself to Chelsea.
Nowhere near the trophies for years. That's coming from a fucking Spurs fan, Henry. Like, how many trophies have you won recently? Like, no, that's a ridiculous statement to make.
Tottenham. I'm not
you should be, because you're talking about United in a derogatory way. Because you're glowing about Pochettino and all your players, but you still haven't won any trophies. Yes. United won a major European competition just a few seasons ago.
We're different.
Ole Gunnar's just come in. Last season, Jose had a mare, okay? We went down fast. Ole Gunnar came in. He steered the ship to an okay point towards the end of the, when he first came in.
So where did you finish last season?
We finished 7th, 6th.
Exactly.
Can't even remember that.
If you finish 8th this season, then that's
you're totally missing the point, mate.
You're
totally missing the point. It's not about the finishing position in the table, Henry. It's not.
It is.
Because you can come back stronger next year. Solskjaer needs transfer windows. He needs players to come in. He also needs to develop these young lads. If he's playing Pogba and Lingard and these guys and it's not working out, then look, fair enough. He might have to go and somebody else can come in. But he still needs a fair crack at the whip and time to be able to rebuild this Manchester United side. It's not a quick fix, mate. It's just not a quick fix.
I don't disagree with that.
Well,
I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying it's a quick fix.
We need to stick with our manager, mate.
But I still believe the man while he's here. Results are expected at Manchester United with the money that you spend, with the team that you are. I mean, there is no reason why you should be accepting 8th. We're not going to finish 8th
anyway. We're not going to finish 8th. But the point, I'm just using that as a worst case possible scenario. But it's not actually about the finishing position to me. It's
but
about
if you do finish 8th, Ollie needs to go.
Club.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I disagree with me. I think it depends on a whole bunch of varying factors. That's my point. It depends how we're looking, how we're doing, how we're progressing, how the team's coming along. So, you're talking gash, mate.
No, this is a great chat. This is great because we found
it's a full-on debate. I'm not happy with it, mate. Ollie needs to be supported at the moment. Look, fair enough. I've been disappointed with some of his picking the older senior players at the moment who are not performing, just like Jose did, just like some of the other previous managers did, and it's wrong. But I'm hoping that he's going to change now. I hope he can see that certain players are not performing and they deserve to come out the side. So, but he's got to change it around. If I can see he's doing the right things, I will support him. I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but him as a manager and him as a player are two separate things. I know you've got to draw the line. I'm judging him like any other manager who would be managing Manchester United right now. He's not had that much time. He came in at the end, towards the tail end of last season. He's had an average transfer window. We lost just as much players as we gained, really. So we're not really in a better position. So he needs the players at the club and he needs the time to be able to work with those players. Let's judge him in 2 years' time is what I'm saying.
That's fine, but I still believe that you're giving Manchester United, you're giving Ollie way too much leeway. I mean, 8th is mid-table. I'd love to hear some comments. I think usually we don't get into the comments till a bit later on, but have we got anything coming through on this?
Let's get into the comments. So straight off, we've got a super chat here from Alex Rincon. Thank you very much, Rincon, for stopping by in here and moderating as you do. I'll just take this moment to say to everybody who's tuning in, thanks so much for stopping by on the live stream this Wednesday afternoon. Do us a favour if you're in here, smash that like button. What's that?
It's heated.
It's heated, yeah, but smash that like button. It's a heated debate. That's what
It
happens
is. This
with
is
all
what
the
we
cod
love.
that gets thrown around.
This is what
mate.
the Pig in the Head show's about.
Right, here we go. Alex Rincon, he comments, Hen is deluded, LOL. There's no way Poch could turn United around without the right signings. Get me on the show so I can talk some sense into this guy.
That sounds like a threat.
Well,
no, fair play,
next
Rincon.
comment.
I'd love to discuss
Illa
this with Alex
United
Rincon.
comments.
Of course I would.
Illa United comments, Henry, you are deluded. Comment from Voodoo Chili, who says Pig will accept 17th as long as youth is given a chance. That's not strictly true. Look, we need to see how we're doing, of course. I'm just saying judge it on a case-by-case basis at the time. Okay, that's what I'm saying. The Loyal Dutch comments, I think we'll finish the season between 4th and 7th. Yeah, well, that's the most likely thing that can happen. 8th isn't really going to happen, but, you know. He also says, bro, please tell him that if he looks at the Premier League table the last 3 seasons, Spurs have done worse and worse points-wise. So there you go. I mean, hang on. So Rincon says, go back and read Rod's super chat. I've missed a whole bunch of super chats by the sound of it. Alex Rudd's in the house. How you doing? Thank you very much. He comments, I call BS. United had the squad and finished 6th. What? United had the squad and finished 6th. That's what Alex Rudd says. What do you think?
So what he's
that?
trying to say is you should have been finishing higher than you did when he finished 6th. That's what he's trying to say.
Yes, but last season it wasn't Ollie's mess to deal. You know, he's come in and dealt with somebody else's mess, so you can't judge him based on where we finished last season. He needs a whole season. This is his first start to a whole season, so let's see, how he does this season. That's what I'm saying. It's the start of the season. Give him a break, okay? In some of the games we've been unlucky as well.
The only reason I got vocal here is because you mentioned 8th, and in the same breath as, that would not necessarily be a good season, but you've got to give him time. And my argument is no, it's a results business. You've got the money at Manchester United. You've got the name. You're talking about a top 6 in the Premier League. And I'm not saying that United should be competing with Liverpool and City at the moment. Of course not. But you're still talking a top 6. And if you're talking a top 6, you have to be part of that top 6. If you're not, there's something seriously wrong and you have to make the change. That's just how it is. That is modern day football. That's my opinion.
Fair enough. It's a strong opinion. I disagree with you, but fair play to you. Let's read a couple more comments here. So thank you to everybody who is tuning in and getting involved in the chat. Right, let's go back and have a look at some of the people commenting a bit earlier on. Comment here from Alex Rincon. He says, Hen is chatting absolute shit.
Are you sure you're not?
I'm just cherry picking them.
I want someone that's come out and agree with me. Is there anyone that's agreeing with what I'm saying?
He was just telling me to go back and read the chat, but it's a bit confusing, so I'm just going to go down. Get your thoughts and opinions in on the comment section right now. Who agrees with Henry Hotspur about, the fact that regardless of how we're actually evolving as a football club, if we did finish, say, 7th or 8th this season outside the top 6, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should just be sacked automatically. If you think that's the case, let me know if you agree with Henry. If you think that even if that was the case, I think United's a special club that that should be given managers time, especially somebody like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who deserves that, I think.
Why does he deserve it?
Why does he deserve that?
Right, let's get onto that.
Because he came in, he played himself into a...
What does he deserve?
He deserves to have a full season, mate. He deserves to have a full season.
What, in the same way that you would deserve a season, or I would?
Absolutely.
Is that what you're trying to say? So anybody would deserve
absolutely
that time,
not.
is what he says.
No, I'm saying because it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, mate. Because he's a freaking legend. He came in last season. He played himself into a job.
Apart from a player that did fantastic at Manchester United, other than that, what has he actually done?
He's won the Norwegian League Championship, mate. Have you ever done that? Have you ever done that, Henry Hotspur?
I am erect right now.
Well,
I am.
Molde,
wow.
You know, there was someone else that season, mate.
Honestly, mate, I am rock solid hard thinking about that. I am.
Right, okay, here we go. Rincon says Ollie won the treble and he's a legend. That's one more than Spurs. So There you go.
As a player, we're talking managers
but listen,
here.
He's a legend. That's why he does deserve a bit more time than, say, just a Jose Mourinho, who's one of those sort of mercenary managers. That
But
goes
a
from club to club.
player,
He does
and a
deserve a
manager
bit
is
more
two,
time
is
than
two
that,
different
mate.
things.
Of course it
It's
is.
two different things.
He's never going to get the experience of being a top manager.
Are you saying that as soon as Lionel Messi hangs the boots up, that he should go to Barcelona as the manager?
What I'm saying is there would be no Manchester United now in the same capacity if it wasn't for Manchester United sticking with Sir Alex Ferguson after a few tough years. Okay, and if you look at Fergie's career before that, yes, he was ridiculously successful with Aberdeen. I think he won the Scottish League for the first time in a long time, and then also went on to win the Cup Winners' Cup with them. Amazing achievement for any manager with a club like that.
I'm not
denying
that.
I still think that he got sacked by another Scottish club. Was it St Mirren or someone at some point before that? So it's
Aberdeen.
not. If you look at their careers up until this point, are they truly that different? He won the Norwegian League with Molde for the first time in decades, I think it was. Fergie did the same thing in the Scottish League with Aberdeen. No, you can't compare it, but they're sort of comparable.
To historic football.
But United is a historic club, mate. We've got a history, a great history, and if we
ignore that history,
in the
past, that's where
if we ignore that history, we're just going to be that chop and change, sack your manager club.
You don't need to be a chop and change.
Well, that's what we have been since Sir Alex Ferguson.
But you need to be chop and change if you're not getting the results.
But it's not worked for us doing that sort of a tactic, mate.
Yeah, but it hasn't worked for you, but it's worked for the other top teams. They're not hanging around with some ex-player that's finishing 8th.
Well, it hasn't worked for Tottenham, so...
I mean, it hasn't worked for Tottenham. We made Champions League final last year.
Okay, you made the final. Well done. You got the runners-up trophy, mate. Where are your trophies? Where's your silverware in the cabinet, mate? It doesn't
matter, mate. There is obvious progression.
Well, okay,
finishing,
but there's obvious progression,
making the placements.
He's had all these years and he hasn't won a trophy. Maybe you should just sack him, Henry, because it's obviously not going to work out. It's not successful, is it?
You just jump in at Spurs now, but you're not getting my point. You're not getting my point.
I'm getting it.
Okay, listen. Ollie is not Fergie. He never will be.
Okay, well, nobody else will be either, mate, because he's talking about the best manager of all time. It is a different time. The point I'm making is there was a moment in time when everyone was like, sack Sir Alex Ferguson. Well, he wasn't even a Sir then, was he? But sack Alex Ferguson. And he could have easily been sacked. But the board decided to stick with him, and then the future unfolded as it did. So look, it's easy to say that, Hen, but he does need time. It's been 4 or 5 games. I mean, come on. It's a joke. Right, I'm just going to jump back into the comment section here and see if there is anybody that actually does agree with you. So let's see if anybody agrees with you. Griffo Chaz comments, another year of no Champions League would kill United. I believe a big factor we didn't get a midfielder is that we weren't in the Champions League. I'll take 6 if we win the Europa League. I mean, that's only true if you're talking about getting the top midfielders in. We could have easily signed another midfielder who wasn't in that sort of a bracket of having to play in the Champions League, like a James Maddison or something like that. So it's true the level of players we attract is not as high. But yeah, I mean, it's terrible for a club like United to not be in the Champions League. So I hear you there. That is a big factor of not being able to get in, the same quality of players that some of the other teams can. So I agree with you. Do you think that's a valid point then, Hen?
No, it's all just excuses. I mean, there has been nothing stopping other teams breaking into the top 4 over the last decade or so. The top 6 teams over the last decade, and I'm going to keep talking about last decade because history speaks for itself. You have had this fight for them Champions League spaces, and there was nothing stopping Tottenham. When we were still progressing, we didn't have the spending power of the other teams. We did not have the wage structure anywhere near it. We're looking at paying our players half the amounts, if not less, than what some of the top teams were, and we're there now. We've made it. I don't know what the players are on now. Maybe a little bit better, but that's just how it's been. Any other top side that has failed has got in a new manager. They've evolved themselves quickly because I believe that's what you need to do in the modern football world. And they've got themselves the trophies, or they've got themselves back into their Champions League places. I'm not saying don't give Ollie a chance. I'm saying if you finish 6th, fine. All I was trying to say.
Why is that fine? Isn't it more important how we're doing,
okay,
rather than the finish? I mean, you could finish.
No, the finish is everything.
Yeah, but the teams around us could all finish on goal difference, and it could be decided by goal difference. So we should be sacked then. It's just a number, mate. Really, it's listen. We're not going to finish 8th anyway.
But that's where you make it or you don't. And that's where careers
I was
are judged
laughing.
on.
Hey,
Whether
Henry.
that's harsh or not, that's how it is.
Sorry, I was laughing when you were talking. By the way, I've just been a couple of these comments out, so let me get back into everybody. Get your thoughts in. But Gungshi comments: we can't keep sacking managers. The problem is the owners and the board. Totally agree. Like Solskjaer being the manager is not the issue right now. The reason we don't have the tools, the reason we don't have the squad, is because of their poor judgment over the last few years, their lack of recruiting enough players in key positions, and if we had a different manager, it'd be an uphill struggle for them too because of the board. So I'm with you, Gungshi.
Okay, so I accept that. I do accept that, and I think I do lack an understanding of what's actually going on at United in terms of the board, in terms of Woodward, etc. Because I'm not a United fan. All I know is basically what you tell me. So, I mean, if that is a fundamental issue there, then of course that's going to hold you back. I'm just looking at it from a neutral point of view. If everything's sound and fine, and you're just looking at managers that have what they need at their disposal to have a good season, then that's when, if you're not finishing in the top six, that becomes a serious problem. So what you're trying to say now is because of the issues, and Gungshi might be jumping on this boat as well, because of the issues that you've got at United with the Glazers, etc., that's why you need to give Solskjaer more leeway? Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm saying is, if we're going to sack anyone, we should sack the bloody owners if we could. It's not down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the reason why United are not at the place we should be right now. He's only just come in, the poor lad, all right? Give him a bit of time is what I'm saying. Fair enough if in 18 months' time we're no further along and we're doing poorly and, things are looking very ropey at United, then yeah, you might have to make a change. But he hasn't really had enough time to show his managerial abilities at United yet. So that's all I'm saying. I'm saying he's not at the time. Give him the time. Rincon quotes you, Hen, and says you don't need to chop and change in quote marks, but then suggests we should sack Ollie if we finish 8th. Deluded.
Well, wait a sec. Wait, that's harsh. That's harsh from Rincon. It is. Because what I'm trying to say is you need stability at a club. Of course you do. But at the same time, it is a results business. So if you're not finishing somewhere, like I said, if you finish 6th, keep Ollie. But it is that black and white. You're either there or thereabouts, or you're not.
Sorry, Rincon also adds in quotes. He's quoted you again here, Henry. You've got so many sound bites coming from tonight's show, mate. He comments.
It's good that people are listening, isn't it?
Yeah, they're quoting you here. He says, "Where has it gone? Silverware doesn't matter. It's about making the placements." Henry Hotspur.
I'm not saying it never matters. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter in terms of
it doesn't matter to a club like Spurs.
But what are we talking about? What we're talking about is keeping your manager, continuing with your current setup. That is the context of what we're speaking about this evening or this afternoon. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
Fair play. Burberspin 9, thank you for your comment. He says it's going to be hard to judge Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and where we are until we have a midfield to play with. Yeah, I mean, that's true. We don't have a good enough standard midfield. We're also lacking a striker. We're lacking a winger as well. So until we get those parts, until Ollie's allowed the money to actually sign those players, fair enough, if he signs the players and they don't work out, then obviously he's going to have to take the responsibility for that. But he's got to be allowed to sign those players. We didn't get them in the summer. We just lost players. Lukaku went a top player we spent 80 million on. Sanchez paying 500k a week. Big name players, big experience in the side, gone. We didn't replace them. So Ollie's going to have to get those windows to replace those players. Once he's done that, then you can judge him, is what I'm saying. You judge him on how we do at the end of the season. Fair enough, if we're 8th and we're not really progressing, then he's got to leave. But if we are progressive, if we're looking good, if the youth is coming on and it's looking like, do you know what, next season maybe we can just really get back into that top 4 with this squad that we've built towards the end of the season. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, I believe that it's time to put an end to this particular segment of the show. I think we've discussed this well. We have debated this very nicely. We got some of the commenters involved. I'd just like to make my final statement, which is I have to be honest. I don't believe in Ollie, and I know he hasn't had a million years, but my gut feeling is it's not going to work for him at United. I don't think he's got the caliber. You can see that from his tactical nous during games, and you've commented on this yourself.
But we've not been playing badly though in these games. Some of these games we could have won with.
That's because you've got good players.
If the penalty goes in there,
you've got good players. because you've got a team that's
We haven't got
capable
that
of
good
finishing
players,
top
Henry.
6.
What are you talking about? You know, we don't have the depth
You
or
have
the
got.
quality.
You've got some great players.
Who?
You look at the money.
Go on, yeah, we have got some
spent
good players.
in
But
Manchester United.
go on then.
That's what makes me
Go on then,
laugh.
compare
That's
it,
what makes
though.
me laugh.
But we
though.
don't have the
You're
squad,
getting me angry
Henry.
again.
We don't
You're
have
making
the
me
squad,
angry
mate.
again because you look at the money
You're
that's been
deluded.
spent on your squad. Go through your squad. Tell me how much these players cost.
I just told you our big money signings over the last couple of years we got rid of because they didn't work out. Sanchez and Lukaku gone.
That's fine.
Who
but
we brought in two 21-year-olds and Harry Maguire at the back. We've improved at the back. Sure, our defence is there. Our defence has got the players. The midfield doesn't and the attack doesn't, Henry. It's not to the level it should be. Not a top 4, top 2 challenging for the league side.
Yeah, but top 6, yes.
Top six, yes. Top 6, yes. But that's still not where we should be. We should have better players.
Yes, but you will do. I'm not saying you need to finish in the Champions League spaces, but you need to be challenging for them, and you need to be finishing 5th or 6th at least.
We do.
And that comes back to what I was trying to say.
But it's the Glazers.
How can you disagree with
that? It's the Glazers that are the problem, Henry. Not just you're just pinning it all on Ogonite. There's a lot of factors why United are underperforming right now. They didn't get the players in for the squad. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Let's move on.
You can't just blame the Glazers. Look at Newcastle. Look at Newcastle. You know, Benitez left because, you know, the hierarchy was wrong. It wasn't right there. And Newcastle, well, they're never going to push for the top of the table because it's a business. It's a business mentality. They just want to keep Newcastle there. They might sell. Mike Ashley might sell the club at some point. It's a money spin.
Well,
in the same way that Manchester United is.
It is. It's totally disgusting, but it's very comparable. So. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Very comparable.
That's it. We're playing with a handicap all the time, mate. Our owners are handicapping us.
Benitez left because he's bigger than that. Ollie won't, because Ollie's not that kind of guy.
Well, look, let's just see how Ollie does, okay? Ollie needs to get us back on the right track. I agree, it's just the harmony at United is not there because of the owners. That's where it all comes from. Even if we started to get successful, we still don't want these owners. So, there you go. Right, should we go on to the new segment of the week? The new Seggers?
Absolutely fine. Let's do it. Let's do it. Are we still friends, yeah?
Let's play the theme tune. We're still friends, absolutely. It's just a heated debate, mate. Yeah, good debate.
It was heated.
Totally disagree with you.
You look affected by it. I'm fine. You know,
I'm absolutely fine, mate.
Conflict, but I know you're a bit of a sensitive soul sometimes.
Well, I'm slightly annoyed by the fact that you are so dismissive of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United. Give him a chance, okay? He doesn't have the CV of anyone else, nor he ever will do if he doesn't get the opportunities. He's got an opportunity. Let's see how it goes, okay? I just can't wait for Pochettino to go to Real Madrid or something in the future, and then Spurs to go back to being the shite club that they should be. Ollie is my best mate.
Wow.
Ollie is my best mate. You are riled, mate. But it's funny, though, because it does make me laugh, though, Henry, because you don't win trophies at Spurs. It's like your placement's all you care about. It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
We've been more successful over the last 5 years, trophy-wise.
It will matter. It will matter once we start going backwards and we start thinking that 8th is okay. Then it will matter. Don't you see what I'm saying? Don't you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but you're looking at it too literally. You're just taking my point for literally face value. It's not what I mean. You just don't get it, Henry. You just don't get the point. We've gone through this. We've come around. You've even said, "Oh, okay, I can't disagree with that." You know, people commenting and stuff, and you're like, "Oh, I changed my opinion." Now you've just gone back to it immediately. It's piss poor, mate. It's proper Nigel Farage tactics.
I haven't done that. What do you mean, Nigel Farage? You know I like that guy. What are you on about?
There you go. That sums you up, doesn't it?
Into this.
That sums you up that you absolutely love that smarmy bastard.
Seriously, is this where we're stupid to? We can't even talk about football anymore. We need to pull other things.
I was just saying that's how you should be a politician,
runs.
Henry. You should definitely be a politician, mate. Honestly, because you fit that mould.
Wow.
Right, listen, anyway, right, we're going to get onto the new segment, okay?
I'm not going to respond to that.
We're going to get onto the new segment. Are you ready?
Get a milkshake ready, yeah?
Pig and Hen's melter of the moment. The pig and the hen's melter of the moment.
Are you there, mate? I can't hear you.
What a melter.
Sorry, I didn't give you a cue there. I was going to play the music. I just played the music, mate. Okay? Right, listen, melter of the moment. This is the new segment on the show. So me and Henry, what we're going to do is we've each thought of somebody that we think's the melter of the moment right now in terms of the footballing world. So it's kind of like man of the match, but it's not. It's melter of the moment. So my melter of the moment this week, right now, is Pep Guardiola or Pep Fraudiola, because he's not doing so well at the moment, is he?
Come on,
And
come on, he lost one
come on, he's
game.
freaking
What are
lost
you
to
on
Norwich
about?
City, mate. He's
Serious?
he's a couple of points ahead of us. It's literally, he's having a
Really?
nightmare, mate. He started the season,
Really?
Liverpool won 5 out of 5. He's going for it. They're 2 points ahead of us, mate. He's having a mare.
I'll let you speak. I'll let you
He's
speak.
having a
I'll
mare.
let you speak.
Let me speak. He's having a nightmare. But listen, no, seriously, Henry, listen, hear me out before you say this, right? They lost that game. They've looked a little bit more ropey recently than they have done for a very long time. They've also got injury problems galore at the back. Have you seen this? So John Stones...
How does that make him a melter?
Because he's just going to have to deal with it, and he's a melter. This is why if you let me speak, I'll tell you why he's a melter, okay? So he's got these players at the back there. All he's got now...
segment already.
All he's got right now, honestly, is Otamendi. He's the only actual known centre-back that they can play right now, okay? And we all know maybe he doesn't favour Otamendi so much for various reasons, okay? Then you've got John Stones is injured. Laporte is injured. I think Laporte's injured for 6 months, okay? So Company left. He allowed Company to leave, their heroic captain for the last however many years, and he allowed him to leave, and now, instantly almost at the start of the season, their defensive vulnerability at the back there has been exposed because they don't have the quality and the depth there. Their centre-backs are injured. Do you know what's funny about Pep Guardiola is he freaking collects wing-backs like they're going out of fashion, like they are freaking stamps that he puts in the book. He's got like 6 or 7 really good quality wing-backs there. You're talking, like Kyle Walker and Mendy and who else came in there? Angelino and... who's that other guy they signed, Cancelo? They've got all these guys in there, but none of them are actually able to play at centre-back. So he's collected all these players down the wing-backs. He's got 3 wing-backs on either side that could play there. So he's going to have to put somebody into the centre-back. That's why I'm saying he's the melter of the moment, because he's made a mistake in the window, not strengthening at the back there, getting the wing-backs in where they were already rich in those areas, and now they're going to be exposed, and they're just going to have to play Otamendi and Kyle Walker at centre-back or something. It's freaking amazing. I'm loving it.
You're kidding me. So you're summing up.
That's it. He's the melter of the moment, mate. They lost to Norwich.
At the moment because he didn't do the right thing in the transfer window to make sure that he had enough cover at centre back.
Signed the wrong players.
No,
I'm saying he allowed Company to go and didn't get anybody in there. He said we don't need to get.
Company was always injured. He's aging. He needed to go.
He's one of the most important players for them over the last few seasons.
But
even this last season. Last season he came in there in key games. He scored that goal against Leicester.
Of course he did. But it was the right time for him to go. It was the right time for him to go. Are you serious?
I'm not debating that. I'm not debating that he should have tried to keep hold of him, Hen. I'm saying he didn't get a replacement for him. Why not? He signed wing backs.
Okay, it might have been.
No, you don't have to. This is melter of the moment now, mate. You don't have to combat everything I say just because you're in a shitty mood.
No, but I want to. I want to.
But you don't have to.
Am I not allowed?
Well, you can, but this is the theme of the show is going to be a bit annoying if all we're doing is arguing the whole time, mate. Like, I wanted you to listen to my points of melter of the moment. Then I want to hear your points of melter of the moment. I wasn't going to dissect your melter of the moment, mate.
I'm not trying to be combative.
Well, you're not trying to be. Then what is this? When we actually hang out, we don't interact like this. You just try to be Billy Big Bollocks online.
No, not at all. Not at all. Honestly, not at all. Honestly, mate. Honestly, I love you, mate. It's not like that at all.
Well, just listen to what I say, accept what I've said, and now you say you're melter of the moment.
I do accept what you say, but I've got things. But I want to come back on what you've said. I do. Am I not allowed?
Oh, well, okay. Then.
Am I not allowed?
Go on.
Am I not allowed? Okay. So maybe Manchester City should have strengthened it at them centre-back positions. I accept that. Okay. They lost their last
definitely
game.
Should have done, yeah.
Bit of a travesty against Norwich. What are they doing? But at the same time, they have had issues with Norwich before. It's almost like their bogey team, but it is one game. The other game in the season where they've dropped points has been against Tottenham Hotspur, a decent side. And let's be honest, we were lucky to get a point in that game. Okay. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's stop the combativeness just for 1 second. Would you agree with what I said there?
Well, yeah.
Well, there we go. But to say that he is the melter of the moment...
He's my melter of the moment.
Guardiola, I mean, I think you're pushing the boat out with that one a little bit.
Kloppy is going full guns ahead in the Premier League, 5 out of 5. How many points is City on? They've dropped 5 points now, I think. So they're on 10. They're only 2 ahead of us 2 teams. And considering we've started the season
there's not many games played. There's not many games played.
That's what I'm saying. At the moment, that's why it's called melter of the moment.
Tottenham.
You're missing it. It's not melter. It's not melter of the week. It's melter of the moment.
Okay, well, it's a fair shout. It's a fair shout, but.
And I'm only saying this really because this news came out about John Stones picking up an injury, and they've obviously got Laporte out long term. Otamendi is
Mm.
the only actual
Yeah, but
recognised centre-back.
that's unforeseen. It's unforeseen, isn't it?
But
He didn't
it's
know
not
that was
that
going to happen.
unforeseen. He should have actually done something
Had
about
more
it in the
cover there.
window.
Okay.
He's signed other players in other
Okay.
positions where they're rich in those areas, and he's neglected that centre back position with a big player like Company going. So he's melted a little bit there, Henry. That's why I've chosen it. I could have easily gone for some, one of the Watford's managers. It's not as fun. Okay, I wanted to have a go at Pep Guardiola. Okay, listen, we as United fans, we haven't had a lot of opportunities to do that over the last few years. They've been very successful. They're winning everything. They won the Premier League a couple of years on the bounce. They're a much better team than United. If you want me to say that, nice one, Henry. Let me just have a pop at Guardiola while I can. Okay.
Okay, well, I accept that. I've got nothing else to say on that one. It's fair enough, but I still think it's a bit knee-jerk. Do you want to know who my melter of the moment
let me
is?
play the theme music again.
Pig and Hen's melter of the moment. The pig and the hen's melter of the moment. What a melter!
You're done.
It's a funny show tonight.
You're in there, mate. You're in there.
It's a funny show tonight. So what is the theme music, by the way? I don't even know what it is. You could have just introduced it with, Henry Hotspur is a bleep, bleep, bleep. It could have been that, couldn't it?
You're gonna have to listen to it afterwards, mate. It's just too complex. It's too complex.
Don't even know
of a
what
composition.
it is.
It's too complex of a composition to describe. You just have to hear it, mate.
See, it just goes to show who's in charge of the show here, doesn't it? I have no clue what was just played. Could have been anything. Could have been something about my mum.
Tell you what, it's not a bad idea for next week's show, mate. I just put
really?
I just put little derogatory insults in there throughout the show. Just play them from time to time. Yeah, it actually is a great idea. Like all that stuff you were talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer earlier. I could have just, without you even knowing, just had stuff going, what a load of bollocks. Just in the background there.
Well, should we get on to my melter of the moment?
Right, you go for it.
If I could say you, it might. No, I'm joking. It's got to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's got to be. It is, mate. Do you know why?
Oh,
I feel like every single game that you've played
kind of worms.
This Premier League season, okay, and I've listened. The fans know that I've been there, actually listening along to your watch-alongs, watching Manchester United. I respect the fact that you are watching these games. You're passionate about it. And I don't want to see United do bad. I don't. I'm a neutral. I'm not bothered either way. But I do take an interest in it. But I tell you what, I genuinely feel like every single game that you're playing at the moment, there is absolutely no confidence in the side. And you feel lucky. You feel like, wow, yeah, we got a penalty. We scored the penalty. We managed to keep them out of the game, and we just about won the game. I mean, when have you decimated a side, apart from the first game of the season where, fair play, you actually did well against Chelsea? And I got overexcited. One of the first pig in the hen shows of the season, or the first pig in the hen show of the season, I was full of glowing praise for Manchester United. Now, I feel like a fool, because I feel like I need to take some of those words back, because every single game since then, you have looked... The confidence is gone. You've looked fragile. You've lost against Crystal Palace. I mean, we just destroyed them 4-0. Tottenham Hotspur, Crystal Palace came to us. We destroyed them in the first half. Second half, didn't even need a try. You lost against Southampton. You haven't played a top team, bar Chelsea, if you can call them a top team at the moment.
We drew, but we lost to Palace. We drew with Wolves and Southampton, yeah.
And for me, there are too many question marks around Ollie. I know that you just beat Leicester the other day by a penalty. So this is not a knee-jerk reaction. But in terms of my melter of the moment for the beginning of the season, it is Ollie. Sorry to say.
I think that is harsh, mate. I mean, because you dissected mine, I'm going to have to get into what you just said there, Henry. We've already talked about it 100 times.
Get your shield and sword ready. Unsheathe.
That's it. We're going in on the dragon, mate. No messing around. I'm just going to complete freaking Daenerys you, mate, here. Right, anyway, no. To be fair...
This has been a battle this evening.
To be fair,
isn't
though,
it?
Henry, like, I can't say we've had a fantastic start to the season, but let me just say this. Let me change my melter of the moment to Mauricio Pochettino, who is on the same amount of points as Man United. So if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's melter of the moment, then, I guess Pochettino is as well.
Once you've announced your melter of the moment, you can't go back on it. That is an unwritten rule.
Oh, fair enough. Well, okay. But I don't even want to debate you on this anymore, Henry. Like, we have differing views. There's no way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserves to be melter of the moment, I don't think. You know?
He does. He definitely does.
He doesn't. There's much more bigger candidates for melter of the moment, I think. So, fair enough. Okay, I've got to respect your opinion. You respected my opinion in the end about Pep Guardiola being my melter of the moment. So if that's who you want to choose as your melter of the moment, that's absolutely fine, mate. Okay, I'm not happy with it.
City have been flying this season. City have been flying. Sterling has been scoring for fun. You know, just how can you pick out Pep as the melter of the moment just because they lost the last game?
Because he's melted
at
the moment. No, also, like I said, the other thing, they're going to struggle at the back now, I reckon. You'll probably see him after, I don't know, who is actually the best candidate to go in out of City's fullbacks now, to go in and play at centre-back, because they're going to have somebody come in and play at centre-back, I think, with Otamendi. So who is that person? Kyle Walker's not really cut out for it, although he might be one of the... Angelino's tiny, he's definitely not a good shout. Cancelo possibly, yeah, probably maybe Cancelo, I don't know. But I think they're going to have a couple of issues there, so I just hope that it causes them problems.
Well, I hope so. I hope so too. It's one thing we could agree on is I want to see City not do well this season, of course. I'd like to see Liverpool slip up because, end of the day, you know, what's the other team that's going to take advantage of that? Of course, it's Tottenham Hotspur.
Fair play, right? Okay, Henry, look, I know you're going to have something to say and butt in as soon as I say this, but I just want to talk about it for a little moment, okay? Now, you won't care, fair enough, but my viewers obviously are passionate. A lot of them are passionate United fans. Tomorrow is our Europa League game against Astana.
Sorry, meet me. Just meet me. It's easier.
Freaking Kazakhstani team who are playing they're coming to Old Trafford, I believe it's at home. So that's who we've got to play tomorrow. FC Astana from the Kazakhstani League. Now, one bit of news that I heard today is that Daniel James is actually out injured after picking up a knock in the Leicester game. So I hope it's nothing too serious for any long period of time because he's been great recently. What I would say is it's a great opportunity for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to now play the young players. He's talked about it. Well, the Europa League really should be used as a vehicle to give these younger players something to do. Some games to play, some experience to get, fight for the club, show that, maybe play their way into the first team as well. So I'm thinking without Daniel James being in the side, you could potentially see, Gomez starting, Angel Gomez. You could see Chong starting the game. I think Fred should start the game, absolutely. And I think he should no way in hell play players like Jesse Lingard, who's back from injury now. So he is fit to play, but I don't want to see Jesse Lingard play. I don't want to see Matic play. I don't even want to see Pogba play, really. I just want to see the younger lads play. We're playing FC Astana at home. If we can't take the game to them with our set of talented youngsters, then what the hell are we even doing at Manchester United at the moment? We should be able to win that game with just a handful of the experienced players in that squad and then let the young players run absolute riot. That's what I want to see from this game. So the reason I'm talking about it is because obviously it's an important game for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to see what these youngsters can do. Some of these players will hopefully play their way into the team on the back of some of the more experienced players not performing like Lingard and Matic recently.
100% agree with everything you just said. Absolutely. But I tell you what wouldn't surprise me.
Serious?
Would not surprise. Yeah, I mean, in terms of how Ollie should be setting up.
Yeah.
Of course, you're spot on. But
are
we going to see that? That's the question. Well,
on the show tonight. I'm not just being
combative. I'm not just being combative to make good.
I could have said the capital of Australia's Canberra, and you'd be like, no, it's not. It's freaking Sydney, mate. That's the mood you're in. Trying to explain the semantics behind it to why you're right.
No, honestly, I think you've been affected because I've been, combative.
Passionate. No, you've been passionate tonight, Henry, yeah.
But the only reason I've been like that, it's not because, I've got, obviously I don't have any personal issues with yourself. I love you. Okay?
That's what you think. Wait until this finishes.
As we all do. This comes down to matter of opinion. This is what the Pig and the Hen show is about. Sometimes we're going to agree. Sometimes we're going to disagree. And if we do disagree, it's only fair to people that are listening along to the show to find out exactly what we disagree on and why, and we just need to have it out. Of course we do. I genuinely believe everything you just said there. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he needs to be starting a young team. He needs to be seeing what these young players can do, especially against a Kazakh side.
I think we should be beating them, mate. I mean, they're third in the Kazakh Premier League at the moment. Like, very nice. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're doing a good job there. But they're obviously in the channel. They probably won it last year. That's why they're in it. In the Europa, I don't really know how it works.
If we have got any Kazakh listeners out there, just apologise because they hate Borat.
Do they hate Borat?
They hate it.
Well,
of course they do, because it's not representative of Kazakhstan.
No, that's true. Yeah.
At all. And Borat is made Kazakhstan famous for all the wrong reasons, because it's just completely not true. Even though it's a great comedy film, I love the film.
FC Astana, number 3 football team in all of Kazakhstan. We're going to take the game to them, mate. 4-0. Very nice. That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is, if Ollie, plays Lingard, and he's playing the players that we all know that are not the young players that you want to see, then it just reinforces my point that he's not the right manager for you. So it'll be interesting to see. After all the disagreement we've had, let's see what the starting lineup is against that Kazakh side.
I fully agree, and even put Twanzebe in there as well at the back, even though you might want to mix it around too much there, but I would like to see Twanzebe given a shout as well. Great success, says Alex Rincon.
So anyway, let's talk about like a real competition. So basically, we've got Olympiacos this evening. We got in Greece, and we'll see. Hopefully it'll be a good game. In the same vein, I'd like to see Pochettino. But the thing is, Pochettino is a master. It's not so much about let's play young players, let's play the senior team. He's always mixing it up. He's always fresh. He's always putting a surprise to the media. I read, week in, week out, I read what the mainstream sports broadcasters believe are going to be the starting lineups, and they're pretty much always wrong by one or two players. And that's how Pochettino rolls. He knows what he's doing. Nobody can predict exactly what he's going to do. At the same time, every time you see the team sheet, you can't say that's wrong. That's what I love about Tottenham at the moment. We've got a machine.
You've got depth. You do have depth.
That's working.
Yeah, you've got depth in most areas. To be fair, you are a good team going in the right direction. Poch is doing a good job. I can't say. I think your owners are doing a good job at the moment, progressing the club. Got your new stadium, and you're getting better year on year. I mean, I'd love to just rip in and say that that's not true. It is true. The facts are the facts. Trophies are the trophies, and all that sort of stuff. But in terms of progression as a football club, obviously Spurs are doing an all right job at the moment. So fair play to you.
I'd like to see Wanyama involved, actually. I mean, even though we need to be treating the Champions League seriously, I don't like to see players that are not getting any game time at all. It's kind of like, even if Poch is thinking he's not my best player at the moment, players like Wanyama need to have game time to feel like they're involved in the team. Otherwise, there's no point having him there. And I know that Levy was trying to get rid of him. Yeah, there was talk about him going to Manchester United. But I want to see these players involved. I don't think Wanyama's career is over. Far from it. He's still a solid player on his day. I mean, even to the extent where a year ago I was saying that our best, if we were looking at a proper central midfield pairing of solidity, if we wanted to play like that, then you'd be looking at Sissoko and Wanyama. So he's fallen down the pecking order far.
Shows you the depth that Spurs do have in those positions, though. Fair play. I mean, like we've talked about it before, United would actually take Wanyama at the moment, and he is down your pecking order. So it goes to show you just how poor United's midfield is right now. I want to jump in and I've missed a couple of super chats here, so thank you to everybody who gets in with your comments and super chats and things like that on the show. Gungshi in the house with a super chat. Thank you very much for getting in here. Hope you're doing well, man. He comments, "Long live the pig and the hen." He's obviously a fan of the combative nature of this show today, mate. He always loves it. Gungshi's always piping up saying how much he enjoys it when we're just back and forth at each other. So fair play, Gungshi. Thank you very much for getting in there. Also, Griffo Chaz comments, "Can we have a fire in my room on the hen, please?"
Oh, wow. Are you serious, Griffo Chaz? Come on, mate. I mean, if the pig comes out with one of those, it could affect the future of the pig and the hen. Is that worth risking?
I tell you what, I might have to just slip a cheeky couple of little lines in there during the Tottenham distract. Do you know what
I might need to start getting my bongo drums out. You know?
That's it. You have to start getting them out, mate. And yeah, thank you for that, Griffo Chaz, and also Gangshi, thanks very much. Everybody who's tuning in, thanks so much for stopping by on the live stream today. You're a bunch of legends. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. What is that lager you're drinking over there tonight then, Hen? Is it lager? Show us, show the viewers.
Can you read it? Can you read it?
Oh, it's a classic San Miguel.
It's a San Miguel pale.
It's a cerveza.
Pilsen. Premium beer is a 4.7%. Expertly brewed from the finest ingredients, apparently. It's all right. Do you know what I mean? I've spent a little bit more money tonight on my beer. Usually I just go for the cheap local Chinese beer or a Qingdao or whatever it is. But no, I felt. Do you know what?
Nostalgic,
I might go for something. I might go for something a little bit, more pricey. Not ridiculously pricey, but it's kind of stronger. It's certainly stronger. Like what you drink out here tends to be the watered down 3-point-something%. Just above 4% alcohol if you're a beer drinker. And it's refreshing, but if you want to have a beer, it's not really a proper beer. You know what I'm saying?
We've got breaking news on the channel again. Sorry, Henry. I'm loving your beer chat. Alex Rincon, thank you so much for getting in here and informing me of that. And I've just checked out on BBC. And it is indeed true. Let's talk about this one then. So, Victor Lindelof, Man United defender, signs a new contract to 2024 with the option for a further year. What do you think about this one, Reds? Get in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on it. Like, let me just give you my opinion. So this is breaking news right now. Victor Lindelof, he's obviously had a bit of a ropey start to the Premier League campaign with a couple of errors that he made in key moments in key games, right?
He's done well with that contract.
But listen, last season he was absolutely brilliant for us, to be fair. He really did come on leaps and bounds. He was actually our best defender by quite a margin last year. So fair play to him, he's good. We're not really going to base his whole United career on just 2 bad performances and errors in games. So I think he's a player that we need around the club, even if he's not going to be the long-term partner for, say, Harry Maguire and prove that they could be the new Rio and Vidic. He's still a good person to have as a backup, somebody you can play at right back as well, left back. He can play a multitude of positions. So it does make a lot of sense to keep Victor Lindelof at the club. I'm not going to say just based on a couple of bad performances that I'm not happy that he's extended his stay. So I think United need to do a job of keeping hold of some of the better players we've got at the moment. And of course getting rid of some of the worst. But I think Lindelof is a good defender. He's lacking in certain aspects, aerial battles and things like that, not so sure. But in terms of a ball-playing defender, blocks, tackles, positioning, reading the game, he is very good. So I rate him. I think it's a good signing to get him signed up till 2024. Breaking news, there we go. Victor Lindelof signs a new deal. Henry, thoughts? Yeah, okay, go on. Go on.
Oh, you're so defensive.
Go on, just get it said.
Hopefully Lindelof is going to be for you after signing this contract. I mean, he's done well for himself, hasn't he? He's looked decent enough. He's been a little bit ropey here and there, especially in some of the recent games. I think it's a win-win situation. I think he is a good defender. He needs Maguire next to him. They need to have a good partnership. I think they do supplement each other very, very well if they can get it right. And at the same time, he's going to be over the moon because he's signed. He's obviously got a good contract there. It shows that he's happy where he is. He's not one of these players that just wants to move on now. I think he's satisfied at United. I don't think that he's a problem player. All I see from him, from what I've seen of him, is he's passionate about what he's doing at Manchester United. Let's just hope, for your sakes, that he is the right choice at Manchester United to be in that centre-back pairing with Maguire. We just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there, Henry. To be fair, he is a good enough player. He's still not a finished product. He's still got some time to develop. He's shown some good things over the last season or two, so I think it's good. Will he ever be that true top quality centre back for us? Only time will tell, but we've got to at least give him that time. So
where's he from, Victor?
He's Swedish.
Okay, and I take it, obviously, he gets straight in that Swedish side internationally
Yeah, he
wise.
scored for them the other day, actually, during the
Oh,
international break. He
fantastic.
scored like a sick half volley. So fair play to him. But yeah, that was
It's
just
always
after
interesting
making
to
an
see.
error.
It does give players confidence, though, if they are featuring in their national side. So yeah, brilliant.
Yep, Thulani Bukani, shout out to you. He comments, if Bailey could stay fit. That's the thing. We've still got Eric Bailly at the club. Like he is,
Yeah, almost forgot
he
about
is a
him.
very
Yeah,
good player. Like he's just out
great
injured
player.
all the time. And in terms of aerial defenders, he is definitely great at that. In terms of clearing things away, he does remind me of a sort of Vidic-esque player. Only problem is we just don't see enough of him because he's always injured. He's been in and out the side. When he does come in, he looks good. He puts in a good performance, or maybe gets a red card and he's out for a few. So he needs to come in and try and dislodge Victor Lindelof from the side. But the fact is, we don't have a fit Bailey. Bailey's got the potential, got the ability, but it's getting out there on the pitch frequent enough, and that is why we need players like Victor Lindelof. But our
When
defence
Bailly's
is
back
looking
in,
so much better than it was anyway.
exactly. As you said earlier in the show, your defence is the one part of your team where it's not too much of a worry. It's not kind of like we desperately need new players. You need to work with what you've got there. When Bailly is back fit, then you've got the option at 3 at the back, which is something that, as a modern side, you need to be ready to do in some games. I honestly believe that you can't be stagnant. You can't just be that type of team that only knows how to play one way. You need to be flexible because you don't know who's going to be fit, who's not going to be fit. You're playing different teams. You need to change it up. I'm just talking as a Spurs fan. I'm not trying to rub it in here, but I love the way that sometimes you see Poch line up with 3 at the back. You've got a couple of wing backs there, and sometimes that works. But you can't do that every game. You need to be ready to do that, and you need to be trained to do that. And if you've got Bailly coming back in, and you've got him, Maguire, and Lindelof, you've got Shaw, you've got Wan-Bissaka. I mean, that could be something to work
It's
on.
actually decent, that defence.
For certain games.
It is actually a decent sound of defence, whichever way you look at it with those guys in there. I mean, one thing's for sure, if Lindelof is going to stay on the side, he can't make errors like he did doing those 2 games with those 2 moments. But that's all they were. They were just a couple of moments. Other than that, his general round defensive performance was okay. The loyal Dutch says it's good news, but he needs to work on his jumping and headers. I agree with that. He does. Yeah, I mean, he's going to do well to stop Bailey getting back into the side, though, I think. Hopefully he'll do that. If he's not going to do that, he's going to have to come out of there, isn't he? Absolutely. But listen, what I would say as well, Hen, is that, if you look at the game last night, I only just saw a quick highlight of it, so I'm not going to overanalyze it or anything. But I'm pretty sure Virgil van Dijk made a horrific defensive error last night during that game against Napoli, right, where they lost 2-0.
Liverpool can't keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, he seemed to surge forward and just leave a big gaping hole at the back of the defence there, and a through ball completely undid him.
Sure.
And that was down to an error of judgment from Virgil van Dijk. Now, you're talking about somebody who's the player of the season last season by a country mile. Mm-hmm. And it makes me laugh. People are already comparing him, especially Liverpool fans, but they're already comparing him to like the likes of John Terry or Tony Adams or Rio Ferdinand and Vidic in terms of historic level of Premier League quality defenders. He's nowhere freaking near, man. Look, last season, his one season there at Liverpool was as good as any of them. It was, in my opinion. I thought he was a complete defensive rock. But you can't say immediately now he's going to be that sort of player like a Vidic or a Rio or a John Terry or a Stam or an Adams. No, because they did it over long, a longer time. So let's see how he does this season. Is what I'm saying. Could it be second?
Right, what I will say on that. I'm sorry I'm just so passionate tonight. I've got stuff to say. I will say yes and no. I think Van Dijk is an incredibly good, gifted centre-back. Of course he is. I believe the game has changed. Okay, so you're looking at teams like Liverpool at the moment. You're looking at Manchester City. I mean, they're leaking goals. When do these teams keep clean sheets? I mean, more often than not, they're letting a goal in. And then they're winning the games 3 or 4 or by 3 or 4 goals. So nobody's questioning it. But I know for a fact that Liverpool are leaking goals because I've got a couple of Liverpool defenders in my fantasy football team. Okay, so I know it because I'm looking for that clean sheet and it's not coming in time and time again. It doesn't matter who they're playing, they leak goals. Now, can you pin that on Van Dijk? Can you say, oh well, people are comparing him to these great defenders of the past, which and you mentioned a few names there. is that fair to do when the game has changed? That's what I'm not being combative here. I'm just saying I believe that those teams play very differently to some of these winning sides, the Fergie sides and the Wenger sides of the past.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair enough. I do think Liverpool's mentality under Klopp, certainly over the last few seasons at least. I mean, I know last year they tried to tighten up a bit, but is to be the team that scores more goals than the opposition. You know, win the game 5-4, win the game 4-3, it's a win. They can attack for days. They can cut teams open. That's not the problem. They're probably the best attacking team in the league, right? So I hear you. So they are going to concede goals. They are going to have the odd error here and there. But what I'm saying is, you know, Victor Lindelof signed a new contract, and those 2 errors doesn't justify him not getting the contract. It doesn't mean that we need to definitely go and get somebody else to replace him. He's got the season.
I will jump to United's defence right now because bottom line, because you do not have that midfield as such. Yes, McTominay, he puts in a good shift here and there. And you started with Matic the other day, but you don't have that solid midfield in terms of a defensive midfield, let alone I'm not talking about your attacking midfield. I'm talking about your defensive midfield. You do not have that solid structure right now at Manchester United. So, the eyes are on your defence. And yes, you've got a good defence, but the reason that there's so much pressure on your lads at the back is because there is that much pressure on your lads at the back. And at Liverpool, at Manchester City, they're not getting that kind of pressure because it's all about Aguero and Mane and Salah, etc., etc. They're pushing the team forward with the solid midfields that they have in place. It's different teams, so there's nothing wrong with United's defence at the moment, but the eyes are on them.
I love how you just backed up what I said like an hour ago, though, about us not having the players in those positions there, because now.
But it's true. It's true. It doesn't mean that you're.
It's 100% true. We don't have the squad. Pochettino wouldn't do anything much more with his squad right now, mate.
Yes, he would. But come on, we've been quite friendly for the last.
I know. I just thought it'd be funny to go back there for a moment. Anyway, right. Let's just. What I want to do, Henry. It's been a great show today, mate. It's been fun. Yeah, it's been back and forth. We've got strong opinions on our teams. That's how it is. So
and each other's teams. We certainly do. Yeah.
Yes. So let's read a few comments out here. Gungshi, how you doing, mate? He says Liverpool will win at Anfield against Napoli. I reckon you would think so. I mean, it was obviously a tough place to go. Liverpool will definitely want to get some revenge in that game. So I do think that's probably the case. I still expect Liverpool, to qualify from their Champions League group. Voodoo Chili 333 comments Virgil will
Great
win.
Name.
He comments Virgil will win the Ballon d'Or. Therefore better than all the other defenders mentioned. He probably does really deserve to win that Ballon d'Or. He's had an unbelievable year. But I don't think that just the fact that you've had one great season and won the Ballon d'Or and you're the best player in the world that season means that you're a Premier League stalwart, a Premier League, one of the all-time best over a career, because he's still got to prove that. He's been good at Southampton, he's been great at Liverpool, obviously. He's got to continue in this vein if he's going to be mentioned in the same breath come the time of in his career when he hangs his boots up as the likes of the players that we talked about earlier in the Premier League. So that's what I was saying. He's obviously a great player. I'd love to have Van Dijk at Manchester United. I truly would. He's a quality player. He's proven that. You could say, maybe he just looked good in that Southampton side, but he's gone to Liverpool and he has been the missing piece of that jigsaw at the back there for them. So he's been quality. Liverpool started the league fantastically well this season. I'm just having a pop about them in the Champions League, and he made a mistake, is what I'm saying. So he's obviously a quality player. Let's be realistic here. Illa United comments Pochettino is a bottler.
No, not at all, mate. Talking about players from Liverpool that I'd rather have at Manchester United. Do you know what? I'd have Jordan Henderson at Manchester United like a shot. Someone like that. Someone that is proven that, he doesn't need to be the player that's scoring the goals or even creating the goals, but someone that you can trust in the heart of the midfield there to actually just pull the strings and be a bit of a leader. Mate, in fairness to Jordan Henderson, you've got to give him that.
Do you know what, mate? I think I've talked about this previously in the past, and based on football and ability, he's not actually that great. It's like, who would I rather have based on football and ability in the side, Pogba or Henderson? But it's not about the footballing ability. It's about everything that goes
Not
with
at all.
it. Jordan Henderson's
Exactly.
character is exactly what you want. The way he fights,
Correct.
the way he puts in the effort. He's not the most technically gifted player in the world, but he makes up for it with heart and determination. So I respect Jordan Henderson. I don't like him, but I respect him as a man, as a footballer, because I like the way...
You can't really disagree with me there, you know. Okay, if you were to have any player from Liverpool right now, I mean, I'm not saying I'd go for Henderson. I'm not saying that. I'd have to have a proper think about it.
I'd go for Van Dijk all day.
If you could pick out one, you go for Van Dijk, but I don't think you need Van Dijk at United.
Van Dijk and Maguire at the back. That's unstoppable. That is the new Ferdinand and Vidic.
But I think you'd be better off with another Liverpool player.
Okay, yeah, I know. I see what you're saying.
That's another very interesting topic, and it's controversial because obviously you as United fans don't like Liverpool too much. But okay, get involved in the comment section, people.
Well, who are the major candidates?
People.
Who are the major candidates?
If you could have one Liverpool player, any of them,
Firmino.
who would it be?
Yeah. Salah, Firmino, Gaz Newton, he comments and says he'd have Firmino. So that's an interesting shout. Griffo Chaz says I'd take Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho and Mane at United. You can only have one. Griffo Chaz says,
yeah, all right.
Hang on, he's commenting again. He says Fabinho, right? I mean, you know, in terms of what we're missing at the moment, yes. In terms of what we're missing and areas we need to strengthen, it's up the top there. But in terms of just getting hold of the best player that we could, it is Van Dijk, in my opinion.
Really?
Well, yeah, because the best teams are built from the back. Lindelof's just signed a new deal, but how good does Van Dijk and Maguire sound at the back there? That sounds like it could be the new Ferdinand and Vidic.
Are there not other players in Liverpool that
RKO, he's come up.
United more?
Well, yes, right now, because we've already got, that is our best position in the team, is the defence. So, yes, right now we could have Mane, RKO Khan, he comments Mane all day long. Ilya United comments I would go Salah. The music fiend says King of Egypt, Salah. Salah would be a great shout, yeah. I mean, he's very, very effective. He's proven in the league as well. Very good player. It's an interesting one. Yeah, the sad thing is that most of Liverpool's team would actually get into Manchester United's team at the moment.
Of course it would.
That is the sad thing. I'm thinking of maybe 2 or 3 players in United's team that would maybe get into theirs. You know, and that's sort of pushing it really, because it depends if you think Wan-Bissaka's better than Alexander-Arnold, or probably not. So if that's your opinion on who's actually done more so far. So yeah, interesting talking point there, mate. Fair play. Right, we've actually approached the 1.5 hour shower of power, if you want to get into it, Henry.
Is that what we're calling it?
No, go on. We need to come up with a better name, mate. Conspiracy.
No, that is a poo name.
What about what about conchitracy?
What about the hen files?
The hen files. No, that's too personalised towards you, mate.
Yeah, but since when have you got anything?
It's true, yeah. No, I actually had a go.
It is my little segment, isn't it?
I know. I actually had a go at the making a theme tune for this segment beforehand, but it's not on this episode because it's Gash. But that actually was called Henry Hotspur's half hour of power or some shit like that. But anyway,
was it?
Yeah, but let's not do that because it sucks. Griffo says hen half hour of henspiracy. Henspiracy, yeah. Rincon says henspiracy. The people who've come up with henspiracy there.
Henspiracy's good, actually.
Chaz, that's fantastic.
That works.
Okay, so let me just play the music, Henry. You probably won't be able to hear it, but it's time for...
But if I don't hear it, it doesn't get me in the mood.
Well, okay, I'm sorry about that, Henry, but that's what we can do. All right, ready?
All right, I'll hum it to myself.
Right, that'll do. There we go. It's the Henspiracy Files.
Honestly, it's so crap that I can't hear
it. Great one, Griffo
Chaz.
You've come up with a good one there, mate. Yeah, the I've elaborated on it a little bit. The Music Fiend says the Hen Files sounds great. Griffo Chaz says Henspiracy. I think we should call it the Henspiracy Files, mate. What do you think?
I don't know, mate. We'll come up with something. We don't need to make a decision on that right now.
And the viewers are dropping by the second.
I like Henspiracy. I do.
Oh, Voodoo
Chili. Viewers actually going, are they?
Voodoo Chili comments. Well, some people do. Some people love it. Anyway.
Voodoo Chili. He's a bit of a Henspiracy
He's a vocal
guy,
one, isn't he? Yeah, he comments. He says Henry is a Poundland Gillian Anderson. Crikey. Gungshi says, I like
Wow.
the hen files. Yeah, well, the hen files, like the X Files with the music, the hen files. The Henspiracy files a bit too much. It needs one syllable. So we'll work on it. We'll
come up with something.
Come on then,
Okay,
Henry.
right.
Let's
So we're
hear
gonna get deep and dirty with it, right? So I mean, this might be a bit controversial, okay? But I'm just gonna bring it up, okay? I'm gonna ask you some questions. This is the best way that we're gonna do this tonight. I'm gonna ask you some questions. As you're just an old person, you don't know what I'm going to talk about, and I just want to say beforehand, apologise if I offend anyone. You know, it's literally, it doesn't mean that I believe what I'm saying. This is just what I've read and what I've heard, and I think it needs to be discussed. Okay, and I'm going to talk about something that this has been a blight on human society, and it started up, I believe, in the 70s. Okay, and it is HIV and AIDS, right? A horrible thing. It affects a lot of people, okay? Do you know where HIV and AIDS originated? I'm going to ask you that right now.
Okay, so what a topic to get into, Henry. Like, crikey, so
it's a big one
is
tonight,
the conspiracy the origin of HIV virus? Is that what
it
you're
is.
saying?
It actually is. Yeah,
well,
there's
that old urban legend. I don't know if it's true. Of somebody had sexual intercourse with a monkey and contracted the HIV virus because they also have a strain of HIV within the monkey kingdom, right? So that's obviously the old wives' tale or the urban legend that we originated from somebody sleeping with a primate.
Sure. Well, it's amazing that you've come up with that because that is what generally is believed in the mainstream scientific world. That's kind of what we're taught at school, that it originated.
I very much doubt
what
it
amazes
is, though, right?
what amazes me is you said that it's an urban legend, but in actual fact, that is what most people are taught and what most people kind of.
It's just a rumor, mate. It's like one of those Richard Gere with the gerbil ones, mate. It's not a fully fledged scientific proven fact, is it? It's hearsay, that one.
Okay, well, the fact is, if you do your research,
debunked. No, it's not.
If you do your research into this, the fact is there is no actual solid evidence or proof that is what happened, even though that is what everybody's told. Okay, so we're brought up to believe that this is where this horrible
we haven't been taught
illness
that, though,
came
Henry.
From.
That's not been taught in school.
This is what I was taught.
No, rubbish. We
were
not taught that in school. No way. No way were we taught that in biology
maybe not
class.
in school, but I mean in terms of
that's
just
rubbish.
Like, maybe.
Yeah, it's just friends talking at school here. You're talking. It's high. That's literally Chinese whispers, mate.
Okay, so if it's an urban legend, then where did it come from then?
Well, yeah,
you don't know, is what you're trying to say.
I mean, did Richard Gere really have a gerbil up his ass, mate, in the emergency room?
Okay, so all right, two questions. Right, okay. My questions for you is why was this disease not around before the 1970s or 60s? But I think it came about in the 70s. Why was it not around before? Why did it just come about then? And why did it come about in two particular social groups? Okay, the first social group is the homosexual community in North America. The second group of people was the Africans. Okay, why is that? Why is that? Why the? And do you know something that happened in the 70s that these people were introduced to?
No, go on.
It was a vaccine. Okay.
I see.
And do your research. Okay. Like there was a vaccine. They were introducing this thing that was supposed to be anti some illness or disease or other. They're introducing it into Africa and to Americans. It was part of the WHO, the WHO program, is what I've been reading. Okay, and then that there is a correlation between the people that had this vaccine and the people that started to contract this disease. Okay, and it became an epidemic. You got to the stage where 30% plus of Africans living in southern regions of Africa were HIV positive or AIDS positive. Okay, And this is no laughing matter. You're talking more than a quarter of people suffering from a disease that kills you. An awful disease. And do you know what? Like in recent years, the epidemic has actually died down. And there is do you know what? If you go to Africa now, and they're still offering vaccines, do you know what? Do you know what the Africans say?
Go on.
They say no, I don't want it. They don't want it because there's a strong contingent of people in Africa that believe that this was engineered. This was an engineered disease by the global elitists.
Wow. That is something else, mate. This is the first I've heard of this, actually, mate. The fact that you're saying that it was genetically engineered in a lab to infect people and kill them, and through a vaccine, to be contracted sexually, so it spreads, right?
Correct. I mean, there is no evidence, and please let me know if I'm wrong. As far as I know, for the research that I've done, there is no evidence whatsoever that this has been contracted from an animal. When we're looking at animal diseases, there's a word for it. I think it's called zootology or something like that. It's a zoo word. I've forgotten what it was. I read it earlier. Okay, and yeah, there are diseases that are contracted from animals, such as rabies. Okay, that is a tried and tested, proven that is transmitted from animal to human being. But
mad cow disease as well, mate. Right?
Okay, there we go. There is absolutely zero proven, scientifically endorsed evidence that HIV or AIDS can be contracted from an animal, even though that is what people have been told. So where the hell did this disease come from? And why did it come? Why did it just start up in Africa? Why did it start up among the homosexual community
like that, though,
in America?
Don't diseases like that and flus and viruses and things like that, don't they develop and change over time naturally anyway? So they do actually change in formation and structure and composition and all that sort of stuff gradually over time from host to host to host to host, because obviously as people build up immunities and things like that, it has to change and develop and move on. So maybe, okay, I see what you're saying, like if there was a point in time when it just became introduced, but maybe they only knew how to detect it at that point, from that point on, or from near there. So maybe that's a factor why it wasn't talked about so many years ago. Maybe they just thought you died of something else if you caught AIDS and withered away and died. Do you know what I mean? But maybe it only became the actual documentation of it, and also being able to obviously find it in somebody's blood. So maybe that's a factor. But also the point I was making about couldn't it have just modified itself over time, and that's where it's made the modification to be able to change from, say, primate to human being, and that is what has caused the initiation of the HIV virus. Possibly, that's also a possibility. So what is your sort of true basis of this? So are you saying you believe that is a man-made engineered? Is that
I'm not standing here and saying that I believe that is the case. I'm not saying that. I'm just presenting something that I've read. Okay, so it's something that we can talk about, which is interesting. I've got another little one. I just want to move on to this one. So basically, Bill Gates was involved in a project, and it was with a British company. I've forgotten the name now. But they were behind genetic engineering or genetic modification of mosquitoes in South America. Okay, so obviously Brazil, where I am now, got shitloads of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are obviously an annoyance to us as a human race. Nobody likes to get bitten by a mosquito, obviously. But the idea was, or what they told the people was, what they were going to do is introduce genetically modified mosquitoes into the mosquito population in Brazil, with the idea that they are genetically modified to the extent where they will become infertile. So, the regular mosquitoes will mate with the genetically modified mosquitoes, and then that will reduce the mosquito population but they mathematically figured out it would only reduce it to a minimum of 10%. So there's still enough mosquitoes to keep the ecosystem going, to make sure it's not going to affect the the insect world out there and the natural world. But it was a complete failure. You can read this. You look this up. You look up Bill Gates. You look up mosquitoes, Brazil. I'm sure it's going to come up with stuff out there. This is what I've been reading. It's come out recently that this was a complete failure. There's even accusations that this has messed up the ecology of the mosquito world of South America. It's actually potentially made certain mosquitoes super mosquitoes. It's made the problem worse. They anticipated that this would reduce the population of the mosquitoes. What it actually did, the creatures are not stupid. It doesn't matter if it's a mosquito or a dolphin. It doesn't matter. The female mosquitoes, the natural mosquitoes, would not mate with these genetically modified male mosquitoes because they knew something was up with them. And they just didn't do it. But the ones that did, and it's messed things up. Please read it, guys. I'm just introducing some crazy stuff, but it's true. Bill Gates was behind that. It's not the first. It's not just mosquitoes in South America. Bill Gates has released mosquitoes in America and other places
I've just thought of something. Bill Gates, when was he born? 50s, 60s, 1960s? HIV virus. You're saying it came into existence, what, 60s, 70s, right? He's obviously a very clever man. Mosquitoes bite people. Mosquitoes collect blood. Mosquitoes bite other people.
Transfer blood,
Transfer
correct,
of HIV.
100%. No. It's not even a laughing matter.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. You actually think that's correlation?
So right. I didn't even make that connection at all. But you're 100% right. The global elitists out there. Bill Gates is involved in certain aspects of there's some crazy messed up stuff. He's even stood on stage and joked about the fact that he wants mosquitoes to actually depopulate society. And people laughed at it because they thought it was a joke.
My computer's going to explode in a minute, by the way, mate, because I'm running Windows 10. So watch it.
Well, all I'm saying is, there's question marks over Bill Gates' involvement in some of these projects. I mean, who in their right mind, who actually has the power to say, right, I want to introduce genetically modified mosquitoes into a country that I'm not from? I believe that this is what's going to happen because this is what scientists have said. I'm going to do this under the premise that I'm trying to help things. But does Bill Gates really give a flying F about the amount of mosquitoes in Brazil?
It's a strange one, mate. That is a strange one.
No, he doesn't.
It's a strange one to be concerned with. Maybe come up with a way of feeding the world's millions of people that are starving. Maybe that should be the main priority. But I think he has done stuff like that as well, though, right? But do you know what? You bring up an interesting point, Henry, which I would like to talk about, which is this is sort of conspiracy related. People like Bill Gates, people like Elon Musk. If you've got money, you can just do whatever the fuck you want, can't you? Because you can just grease enough palms, and I'm basically saying right now that I believe that goes on behind the scenes with these people. Elon Musk just started digging tunnels underneath Los Angeles, and they just went, I've got a proposition for you lads. I'd like to just bore underground and build these massive pipelines and then send people through it in their vehicles. Is that okay? And they've just gone, do you know what, Elon? That's absolutely fine, mate. You just crack on. I mean, something doesn't add up there. Do you know what I mean? Something doesn't quite add up there.
Too much power. Yeah. Too much power. Scary. I mean, in terms of actually genetically modifying small insects or anything, and then just doing it as experiments. I mean, it's messed up. It's not just Bill Gates. It's going on everywhere. You don't know what you're eating these days. Everything's genetically modified. Hopefully it's fine. Hopefully they've just genetically modified it, so it makes it bigger. It makes it easier to grow, so it feeds more people. Great if there's no side effects. But genetically modifying mosquitoes to try to reduce the population of mosquitoes, it just sounds whack to me. Mosquitoes are mosquitoes. We've survived with mosquitoes for however many years. We're not going to defeat the mosquitoes. It is what it is.
Yeah, an interesting thing I heard about mosquitoes a little while ago is that mosquitoes are responsible for more human deaths than all of the world wars put together. in human existence.
Oh, well, then maybe that's the reason why he wants to take him out then. So you come to his defense.
Well, I mean, I'm sure mosquitoes probably do play some sort of pivotal role in our ecosystem, but realistically, they're just a complete bunch of bastards, aren't they? So they do spread malaria, they do spread disease, and they do kill people. They're a huge killer of the human race. So in terms of wiping them out, maybe that'd be a good thing, but at the same time, they probably do have some sort of a pivotal place in the animal kingdom. So if you got rid of them, it's like bees. People talk about honeybees and the lack of honeybees these days, and the population on Earth being slowly dwindling away, and eventually we won't have all these bees around to populate and pollinate all of these plants and flowers and fauna and things like flora and things like that. So it's it's there you go. It's one of those. It's one of those, mate. Who knows? You could be right on that one. It's a strange one. Who knows what would happen though if that was the case?
Quite right.
There we go. Anything else you want to add on the conspiracy show?
Well, okay, just one last little thing. I don't know too much about it, but Trump has just let go his someone. I can't even remember his name now.
Sorry, Henry. I just want to come back to this in one moment, but actually there's just a couple of interesting comments coming in about this topic right now, which you might want to talk about.
Oh, okay. People are interested in this.
The Music Fiend comments sickle cell and a handful of hemoglobin modifications are due to mosquitoes spreading infection throughout human history as well. So they definitely use the human race as some sort of a pivotal part of their, I don't know what they do. Why do they just feed on all warm-blooded animals, or do they target human beings in particular? Do we know the stats?
The question is, has this been a natural occurrence, or has this been people messing around with mosquitoes and actually inflicting this on us?
Yeah.
Depending on how far back you're going in history.
Interesting. It's interesting. Or maybe they could just be completely independent, obviously. But if you're saying Bill Gates is he's actually trying to wipe them out, is he?
Well, apparently the idea of this what should we call it, experiment, was to reduce the population of mosquitoes by introducing mosquitoes that had been modified so that they were infertile.
Fair play.
It's messed up, isn't it? It's messed up, though.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you think that's an okay thing to do? I don't know.
I personally don't really believe in modifying nature, in genetically modifying, the natural Earth. I don't believe in that personally. I know they do it. They cloned that sheep in bloody 1996 called Dolly or whatever her name was. They've already done weird stuff like that, which is
they're still doing
nature. It. They're growing, little baby calves in
they're cloning humans, they're cloning organs, they're doing it all, mate,
Yeah.
But we just don't know about it.
It's quite unbelievable, really. I think it's the natural progression. That's what humans are trying to do. We're trying to become as immortal as we possibly can, right? Then in different ways, in terms of using artificial products. You've got people walking around with pigs' hearts in their bodies and things like that because they've got 99.9% the same, DNA as us or whatever, and they're actually doing successful transplants with organs like that. You're also getting artificial organs, pacemakers, knee joint replacements that have come in with the modern technology they've been able to do. All these sorts of things is going to extend the lifespan of human beings, and there's good and bad things that come from that, obviously. It's probably in the long run, just to get a bit deep on you, this is all part of humans' progression at trying to sustain. That is why we have that drive. That is why people do this. It's to try and sustain the human race, because the longer you can live, the more that you can keep your meat wagon, your vehicle going, the more that the human race can obviously achieve. So I think that is a big factor in why that this happens. The technological progression of medicine is going to play. I mean, it wasn't that long ago people were living till 30. Henry, me and you would have been old men ready for the knackers yard at 1.2 or 300 years ago, probably. So, it's come on leaps and bounds already in a short space.
You're right, but the top technology
short amount of time until we're bionic, mate, and until our brains are downloaded into something to maybe live on as an intelligence rather than as a physical form.
But the top stuff is there ready for the rich, the globalists, the elitists. I keep saying global elitists. People think, what's the hen on about? But that is a thing, okay?
Like the Illuminati is what you basically mean, yeah?
It's essentially that. It's not a secret
Rothschilds,
society.
and all this.
It is them. It's them Billy Big Bollocks people out there, okay?
There's definitely people controlling
and the rest
stuff
of us. The rest of us will not have access to that. But what we will have access to is technology, in terms of phones. And slowly it will become we will become cyborgs, and we will become essentially slaves to the elitists, because we will be that integrated into the technology that in a world where they have created that that atmosphere where I was at work today and I saw a cleaner, bless her, lovely woman. And she's on her phone. When she's not cleaning, she's on her phone. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm thinking, like in a society that we would have lived in before, certain people in society would not have access to.
No, but we're always seeking information.
A mobile phone, let alone a smartphone. And I think that
you probably had a magazine 10 years ago.
The smartphone world has been purposely made available to the masses for a purpose.
Well, yeah, it's the progression of how information is delivered, basically, isn't it? Like the media corporations, you could say that was happening years ago with newspapers and things like that, where people are being mind controlled by the press and all that, and that definitely has gone on over the years. How the public perceives certain things is how the press tell you about it. You know what I mean? So that's definitely the case now. It is happening on our smartphones.
It's also a way to control our lives. I cannot live without my phone, not here in China. Because if I want to buy stuff, you've still got cash here, but I'll tell you what, cash is on its way out. So certain places will look at you funny if you take the cash out.
Yeah, you pay with WeChat, don't you? WeChat they use as a payment source. That's like us using WhatsApp across the board in the UK to pay. It's like that sort of thing.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
Interesting.
This is just the first stage, and it all seems innocent right now. But it will get to the stage where you must use technology to buy or sell. You will have no choice if you want to still be part of, as far as you're concerned, the normal society. And if you're not, you're kind of outcasted. And we've almost, when we get to that stage, we're already basically there. If you refuse to be part of this modern technology world, then you can't get on in a normal day-to-day life. And that is how the upper powers, the upper echelons of power have control over us.
There still are some people that I know who don't really use their phones very much. They just use them as communication devices to actually phone people. There's some people that don't use smartphones like that, but I know what you're saying. More and more people are literally hooked.
Are these older people you're talking about?
Some of the time, yeah, not all the time.
But more often than not, it will be, and
Well, like for instance, my sister, she's not on Facebook. She just uses her phone as a phone. She uses WhatsApp Messenger and the Messenger, and maybe occasionally goes online to do a bit of banking or whatever. But other than that, it's just a communications device. But I think you're right. And we've got a comment here from the Music Fiend who backs it up. He comments, "We're always seeking information, but at the same time, we're also addicts of dopamine. Instead of sitting through a good movie, we want instant gratification. Cue the 15-second clips on our feeds." So yeah, it's very true.
So true.
Very true.
Music Fiend, please come up with some bands or artists that you listen to, because if you're a music fiend, I'd expect you must listen to some good music.
Right, guys. Anyway, we'll pretty much wrap the show up here. We're coming up to 2 hours on the clock, so that's
we really? Oh, we've done well.
2 hours on the clock. So thank you to everybody who's tuned in. I just want to give another shout out, actually, because Henry ruined it last time, to these guys who are the pig and the hen.
Pig and hen, get it right?
Pig and hen. I keep saying pig and hen, don't I? Yeah, pig and hen. So they sent me this bracelet. They make good quality bracelets. They got the same name as us almost, except we're called the Pig and the Hen, and they're called Pig and Hen. Check out this bracelet in this box. Oh, cranky. It's a good quality bracelet anyways, what I'm saying. You can't see it.
I love the way that the hen is on top of the pig.
I know, I was
picture.
saying, I absolutely hate
is.
that. I hate the way that happens, mate. Look at that. It's disgusting. You got a hen piggybacking on the pig. That's exactly what's going on there. He's riding on the pig's coattails there.
You're just a mount. That's all you are.
No, you're literally right. You're a passenger, mate. This sums it up. You're a I'm going to use this logo.
You're the one
No, I don't like
getting
it.
ridden.
I don't like it, but they've also sent me this pretty cool sticker, which I may stick somewhere. I don't know, but at the same time, I'm not happy about the cockerel on top of the pig there.
Thing is, if the pig was on top of the cockerel, then yeah, it might not make it such a good logo.
Patrick Quinn comments: the Illuminati are controlling the mosquitoes to destroy us.
Well,
sorry,
yeah,
he just said we didn't answer his comments. So I had to go back and read it there. So.
There we go. That's what I was getting to.
Yeah, that's basically it. Anyway, listen, guys, we've got to wrap it up now. But thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Do us a favour, smash a cheeky little like on this video and subscribe, of course, if you happen to be new here. Pig and the Hen Show goes on every single Wednesday at 3 p.m. live on YouTube, on Flying Pig United YouTube channel. So make sure you keep a lookout for it every single Wednesday. We've been keeping this up for, about 6 or 7 weeks now, so we've been doing pretty well. Mondays, of course, we've talked about maybe doing the odd surprise show, or here and there any other days you also might pop up and hear from us. Can somebody do me a favour, actually? Oh, actually, I can do it here. One moment. I just want to tell you, Henry, about the Tottenham team news, because the game kicks off in less than an hour, so there must be team news.
Nice.
So I just thought I'd give you the team news. So here we go. We've actually
Can you give us the lineup?
Yeah, I've got you the lineups here. So Lloris in goal. You've got Davinson Sanchez looks to be playing at right back there. Alderweireld, Vertonghen, and Davies completes your back line. You're playing Ndombele and Winks in the centre of the park, with Ericsson and Ali there as well. Lucas Moura and Harry Kane completes it off. So Son Heung-min is on the bench. Lamela, Wanyama, Dyer there on the bench. Sissoko's on the bench.
Interesting.
So
We're playing a weakened side there. We're playing a weakened side.
Mm.
You know, if you know Tottenham Hotspur right now, you know, and Ndombele's just got back from injury. You know, he looks like a great player, but he hasn't been starting. You know, Sissoko's on the bench because he's getting rested. You know, Davinson Sanchez at right back. You know, we started Serge Aurier the other day. He's going to be our right back for now. I don't know what's happened to Kyle Walker-Peters. He might have picked up a little knock or something. But to start Davinson Sanchez at right back, he didn't look great when he was there before. So that's an interesting one.
I'm assuming that anyway. I mean, it doesn't say, it's just got a list down there. But seeing as you don't have an actual recognised right back, it's probably
starting. Well, there we go. I mean, Dele Alli starting, very interesting because he hasn't been starting. So it's an interesting lineup.
Yeah, any team without Son Heung-min in is a weakened Spurs team, to be fair, because he is quality.
For sure.
Right then, so there you go. That's Henry's reaction on it. They're playing Olympiacos later. Come on, Olympiacos! Come on!
Shut up.
No, honestly, I mean, I'm part Greek anyway, mate. Because
I'm
I'm part Greek anyway. Of course I want Olympiacos to beat Spurs. All right?
Okay.
Now, Kali Nikta to you, mother chuffer. Iyayama ini evramunde exikronon. Like that. Anyway.
That might be Greek or not. Who knows?
Putana. You're putana. Anyway, right. Right. Okay, mate. Thank you very much for getting involved with the live show today, as per usual. Even though it's a little bit, feisty early on, but that's what makes the Pig and Hen Show what it is sometimes. So appreciate you getting in here with your very, very strong opinions, even if they're wrong. So thanks very much, Henry.
Thank you so much. Just last thing about the conspiracies. Oh, and Doctor Strangelove. Have you seen that film, Pig?
I don't think I have, mate. No. It's one of those classics, though. Yeah.
It's a black and white film. It's great, and it's actually very, very relevant to what's currently happening in the Trump administration in terms of someone of a high level has recently been let go. They've got a new person in. And just watch Doctor Strange. I don't want to go into it too much. I don't want to bore you. But if you haven't seen that film, for anyone that's listening right now, watch it. If you have seen it, then you probably understand the parallels that I'm coming up with.
Fair play, mate. Great outro, Head. Listen, no, thanks very much for stopping in here, everyone, today. You're a bunch of legends. And yes, we've enjoyed doing the show today. Get your comments in, and also do us a favour, once this video's finished, come back and just stick a comment down in the comment section. It all helps. Get your thoughts in about anything we discussed in this show. Another thing that I'm thinking of doing is, because when I upload these audio podcasts to SoundCloud, I need a pro account to like get more hours and things like that. So what I might extend that, but what I also might do is actually just put all of the audio podcasts that's ever been on the Pig and the Hen, going all the way back from like 5 years ago, on our Patreon. Because Patreon have a platform where you can listen to podcasts, and I think what we'll do is the latest 2 episodes of The Pig and the Hen, which is all that's on the SoundCloud and all that's on the your podcast audio apps anyway, will be what's available to listen to, and then all the previous episodes will go on our Patreon, just for another reason to maybe go and support the channel via Patreon. The link is in the description, so please go and do that if you so wish. Like, I know I haven't put any Patreon content out, but that is going to change. I'm going to put all of the audio podcasts on there, and then just a bunch of stuff just for the patrons. So thank you ever so much though to everybody that tunes in and everybody that's got involved in the comment section today. You're a bunch of absolute legends. I've missed out Alex Rudd's super chat, so we'll end on this. Shout out to Rincon Rudd, Gungshi, everybody else, the usual legends that have come in here: Patrick Quinn, Gaz Newton, the Music Fiend, Steph Harringtonio, Griffo Chaz, and anybody else. If I've not read you out there, I apologise, but shout out to you guys. Rudd comments, time for conspiracy talk. We did do that. And he also comments, Henry Jones. Saying about Alex Jones there. So it's kind of true. It's kind of true. You love Alex Jones as well, don't you?
Well, I mean, I'm nothing on Alex Jones. I'm nothing on him. Who am I? I'm just the hen that talks shit about Tottenham Hotspur and has a few beers. You don't see Alex Jones do the Alex Jones show with a beer in his hand.
He got pretty messed up on the Joe Rogan show
So,
once, though, to be fair. But it's not his show, yeah.
He did,
but
actually.
But that's
You're
on
right,
somebody
you're
else's
right,
show.
you're
That's
right.
different anyway. So there you go. This is actually our own show.
I'm more of an Eddie Bravo.
Mate, you're
I'm more of an
100% Eddie Bravo.
I think, you know. I'm not the top
You
dog.
are literally the half English, half Korean Eddie Bravo. That's a fair way to describe you, I think.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thank you ever so much. Follow Henry on Twitter at Henry_Hotspur. Have you been tweeting recently, Hen?
No, mate.
Well, follow him anyway in anticipation for that very rare next tweet. But you should get involved on that, mate. When I post a podcast and stuff, you should be retweeting it out there, mate. Helping us out, grow the channel a little bit.
I'm sorry, mate.
Good bit of promotion.
Oh, really? Are we ending this show? You're having a go at me because I'm not social
That's what
media
I'm just saying. It's not
active
hard. All you
enough.
have to do is go on there and retweet my posts about the Pig and the Hen show and stuff like that. It'll be easy.
What, and do exactly what the globalist elitists want me to do? No, thank you.
And on that note, we'll wrap up the Pig and the Hen show for this week. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. A bunch of legends. Have yourself a great week. I'll see you tomorrow, of course, for the game. So look out for some content on the channel coming tomorrow, obviously. But until next time, you stay classy. Have yourselves a bloody good one. Take it easy. Come on, United. And come on, Olympiacos. We'll see you soon. I've been the pig.
What? You can't end
I've
it
been
like
the
that,
pig.
mate. That's not fair. That's not fair. No.
I've been the pig.
No.
He's been the hen.
You're not going to end it like that. No.
Come on, Olympiacos.
No.
Come on.
No, you can't do that.
Right,
That's
Henry,
not
you're
fair.
getting muted. If you want to say something, say it now.
Like, okay, come on, United. Come on, Tottenham Hotspur. Come
Oh,
on.
nice one, mate. Fair play to you. Okay, I'll change what I said, mate. I'll say, come on, United. And come on, you Greek champs. Yeah, let's be having you. Come on, get in there, you bastard. Yes, get in there.
Pig and the Hen. Pig and the Pig and the Hen. Pig and the Hen show. 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 Pig and the Hen show.
Come on, Olympia.